New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. Hey.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi, it's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with Farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
You don't have to carry everything on your own. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, substance use, or thoughts of suicide, talking to someone can help. And help is available 24/7 through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call or text 988 anytime to connect with a trained mental health professional. 988 is free, confidential, easy to remember, and available anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. No judgment, just help.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive. If anyone knows about sports fans, it's me. I get to live and breathe the excitement of the season all year long. For advertisers, that passion matters. It's exactly why sports radio performs for brands. People who listen to sports on the radio, via streaming, or on sports podcasts are nearly 3 times more likely to consider a brand that supports their favorite team. If you're interested in reaching sports fans, we have the playbook for you. Check out our comprehensive ebook, State of Audio Sports Fan. Check out stateofaudio.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to the home of the Royals, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome in. This is After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Christian Cero, joined this evening by Jackson Ogden. On the other side of the glass, Jackson, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Chris. It's our first time ever doing an After Hours together.
Yeah,
so
first time.
Here we go.
Yeah, we've done work before on the Character Concerns draft specials that we did back around the draft in April. So we've got some familiarity there.
Sure.
And, you did a great job doing those draft broadcasts.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the work you did. So I think this will be great for us.
Let's do it.
Man, this has been so this is usually probably the toughest week in sports radio.
Oh, yeah.
Because especially today.
Today's the worst day of the year.
Today's the worst day of the year.
It is the worst day of the sports
fan.
year if the World Cup had not been played.
Yeah.
Most of the time, today is the worst.
Today is generally the worst day because there's no sports. Baseball, this is the last day of the All-Star break. I think some teams played tomorrow.
There's one game tomorrow.
Yeah. So generally Friday's the big day where all the series start generally. And then they obviously played the All-Star game last night. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But man, how you've been watching the World Cup, right? You've been watching. You saw that England-Argentina game earlier this afternoon.
For sure.
Man, that was a game. That was a great game, and it's hilarious seeing how many people have come out and actually do care about the sport of soccer. Because for the longest time, I've tried to talk soccer on here periodically over the years. I don't do it too much because you know about the demos here, and you know that people here are very casual soccer fans. For the most part, though, we do have a really good hardcore soccer audience. It's just not like crazy big compared to like football, basketball, et cetera, or baseball. But I've really enjoyed the World Cup. That match earlier today between England and Argentina was just a continuance of what's been like a great tournament overall for the World Cup. I know there was a lot of people who, like the people that know soccer were like, talking a lot of trash about England and Thomas Tuchel at the end of that game, the way they kind of mailed it in at the end. And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to put it in NFL terms of what happened in that game for England. It would be the equivalent to you're playing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and you have a 7-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And instead of continuously trying to score and finish the Chiefs off, you basically try to run the clock out and play prevent defense. So you just don't give up a touchdown. You don't give up any big plays, and you try to run the clock out against Patrick Mahomes. It's a mistake. It's a really big mistake when you're playing the best player in the world. Probably not quite the best player in the world anymore based on his age, but certainly the best player of all time based on his, overall career accomplishment, and still one of the best in the world. And you basically just gave him free reign to take shots at you. And eventually, 2 assists and you end up losing. Really, really tough way to lose. And especially for a team like England that going into the tournament, all we heard about was how this is their time and, are they going to finally bring it back home? Because, as a American sports fan, it would be the equivalent to, if the United States was not the best team at basketball in the Olympics. Every 4 years, we play in the basketball portion of the Summer Olympics, and the U.S. men's national team would get eliminated in, the quarters or the semis. It would be like that. And that's how English soccer fans feel about the men's national team. That's how we would feel as fans. So I can understand that sort of frustration with it because, man, people you were young when this happened, Jackson, but I remember, I think it was 2006 when the U.S. finished third in the FIBA World Championship.
Oh, yeah, that was a disaster.
And it was a complete disaster.
That was a disaster.
People just lost their minds, and next thing you know, everybody was pushing for massive change. We need all of our star players to play and try. And, then you had the Redeem team in 2008 that went out and won gold and did so in really dominant fashion, playing against you played against Argentina, had a good team that year. Spain had an awesome team that year. And, they ended up facing good teams and winning, but they definitely had to do a lot of work to build a roster that could compete with those teams because they had a lot of good players on that 2006 team, but they didn't play well together.
No.
And that's kind of how it is. That's kind of how it is.
And U.S. basketball might find themselves there very quickly.
Maybe.
It's possible.
There's so many good
you look at the best players in the
yeah.
NBA right now, not many of them are American.
No, not really.
It could happen. It could really, outside of Ann Edwards and Cade Cunningham, Cooper Flagg maybe, but you've got Wemby, obviously, SGA. None of these guys are American now.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be the tough part because Wemby plays for France.
Right.
France got a squad.
In Canada's not bad.
Canada's not bad either. Got SGA
will be good
there.
for them. And so
Dylan Brooks there.
It's going to be a challenge. Yeah. I think the fate that you're talking about with England could be the fate that the U.S. men's basketball sees once LeBron, Steph, KD, and those guys are done. Because there really hasn't been this next generation. It was supposed to be Zion Williamson and John Morant, and they just never took over like they were supposed to. So now it's kind of well, Ant's great, Cade's great, but we don't have a LeBron, and we don't have a Steph or a KD. So in my American brain, to put it into terms with your soccer analogy, I think U.S. could be heading towards what you're talking about with England when it comes to the Olympics.
Yeah, that's why we got to keep cultivating great players here. Luckily, we have the league here. It's not in another country.
Yeah.
So, and we have so many teams and we have so many players playing the sport that we're still going to have ample opportunity to have access to talent that a lot of these other countries don't. But yeah, you do bring up a good point that with so many great players coming from overseas. Obviously, you brought up Wemby, you have Nikola Jokic, you have Giannis. There's a lot of really, and we'll probably see more players from some of these other countries that are really big on basketball. We obviously saw Dirk from Germany. Maybe there's another German player they got down the pipe that could, kind of replace his legacy there. A lot of really good players. Unfortunately, for countries outside of the U.S., they haven't been able to put together like a whole group of players, a whole team that has the level of talent that the U.S. men's national team has in basketball. But at some point it could happen, especially as basketball gets more popular. Right?
I think this year specifically in the NBA might save them with AJ, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, and Caleb Wilson all being American players. Like this was, it felt like the most American draft we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Like I can't even remember the last time we had the first 4 picks all be American-born players, all go to college and not be overseas. Like it feels like it's always a Wemby or somebody coming over these days. So
yeah, it feels like there's always in the top 5 some sort of unicorn from Europe.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen guys like Dragon Bender get into the top 5.
Don't remind me of that, dude. I'm a Suns fan.
As a Suns fan,
I hated that pick.
Him.
I hated that pick. I was so mad when they took Bender because I was like, dude, look, he's not going to be the next. What was his name? The Knicks took him. Porzingis. Yeah.
Who was also, everyone was like, he ended up being a good player, but everyone was like, top 5 for Porzingis?
Yeah,
what?
like you're taking a risk on because I think it was Latvian. They took a big risk on that dude not seeing him play in college, but he ended up working out. But then they thought that the Suns thought they could do the same thing with Dragan Bender. Yeah. He was awful. I hated that pick.
Everybody was looking for that stretch big at the time.
And,
it worked out with a few guys like Cat, but then for every Cat,
didn't work out for
there was 5 Dragan Benders for every Cat.
Yeah. So did you enjoy? And did you go out and go to any watch parties for the World Cup?
A couple of times I went out to bars in Kansas City to watch some of the games. So. A lot of it was actually in the group stages. I would watch, and I was just casually watching.
Yeah.
But I watched every U.S. game. I'm a very casual soccer fan.
Most fans are. I'm not going to go deep into weeds on it.
Yeah.
I'm not going deep on because I know most of y'all don't mess with it like that. I know. So a decade ago, I used to do a soccer podcast for the station. It's called 610 FC. It was me and Julio. And we knew MLS. We both played soccer in high school. We didn't really know much about international soccer. Not as much as we know now. But so I got a chance to, I've been learning the game a little bit more. I know the strategy of the game having played, but it's different when you start trying to remember all the players and the teams. Because it's like European soccer is kind of like college football. It's like there's tons of teams in all these different leagues, which are kind of like conferences. And so it's keeping up with all the different conferences and the top teams in those conferences. That's what college football is. That's what college football is, and that's what European soccer is. It's college football. So if you can remember the key players and the key teams, because it's always the same teams that are good every year most of the time, then you can keep up with European soccer pretty easily, just like you can with college football. I went to a lot of watch parties for the World Cup. Went to one in Zona Rosa. Visit KCK had one. I went to, I think Barley's over in Lenexa had a watch party for the first Argentina game. I went to FIFA Fan Fest. And I will say this. Kansas City showed out for the World Cup this year. They showed out for it. People, a lot of businesses tried to get on the action, and they a lot of the restaurants and bars and whatnot decorated their businesses with these really cool. They'd have flags around their establishment, and some of them had player cutouts, and I mean it was awesome. Everywhere you went, the Hen House that I go to, they had World Cup stuff that they were selling there. Hy-Vee had World Cup stuff that they were selling there. I mean, everybody was out here trying to get a little something off the World Cup here. And I think the city as a whole did a really good job of presenting the city to all the people that were coming in from out of town, out of the country and whatnot. I mean, seriously, you go to downtown, that's the cleanest I've seen downtown in a long time. I mean, there were people out there doing landscaping along the streetcar. And I was like, wow, I have not seen this here when I've ridden the streetcar in the past.
You're not hearing about a lot of crime either.
Not hearing a lot about crime either.
You know, when they were like, we're going to have bars open 23 hours a night, I was like, oh, God, Westport is going to be a disaster.
And it wasn't.
And it actually.
It's been fine.
Why can't Westport be like that all the time, right?
It was
That's
fine.
what I was asking myself. I was like, this has actually gone surprisingly well.
Yeah, like, seriously, like, this is like when your parents invite everyone over and they treat you nicer and you make sure the house is clean before. You got the music playing in the morning while you're cleaning the house and everything. I remember that a lot. When I used to hate when we had people over as a kid because all the cleaning we had to do and whatnot. Like, Kansas City showed out for the World Cup. We had 4 teams in the area, that made the Kansas City and the surrounds their base camp for the World Cup. And, there was I think there was one shooting near where England was stationed at, where their hotel was at. Aside from that, didn't hear a whole lot of crazy stuff happening for the last month or so. But I think Kansas City did a great job of how they represented the city, talked to some people who came from out of the country. And first off, a lot of them don't understand that, it's where a lot of countries don't have stadiums as large as what we have in the United States for football. Like, you might have 2 or 3 stadiums in your entire country that are as big as what you have with Arrowhead, or a little bit bigger than that. And we basically have 2 or 3 of those stadiums, at least in almost every single state, because you also have college football. And college football stadiums are generally bigger than NFL stadiums because you have more people going to the games. So, that part was kind of mind-blowing for the people. I was explaining to this guy from Qatar that came in for the Colombia-Ghana game. And he did not, they didn't know just how big college sports is, because college sports is not really a thing over in Europe or South America.
Yeah, no, I saw plenty of people on social media, Twitter specifically, just being like, oh my God. They would go to Auburn Stadium, or they'd go to one of these college stadiums, and they'd be like, this isn't even a professional stadium.
No.
And they're like, what? How? And they're like, they only play 8 games a year here, all year. And it's that's welcome to the SEC.
Yeah.
that's what it's like.
Yeah, they have no idea that there's so many stadiums like that in places that really don't have a lot of people.
My thing was, there was so many. If you told them you could not repeat one of the stadiums you use this time, you could still run it back and have enough stadiums to do it. You could probably do it 2 more times.
Yeah.
Without, you don't even have to recycle these stadiums. You could do it again. There was a lot of good stadiums and a lot of places that would have been good host cities as well that didn't get the chance. So the U.S. hosting was great for everyone, really. And like you said, I think Kansas City did a great job. And I really think Kansas City will show out for any sport. I think if we got a WNBA team, it'd be going crazy. I just think Kansas City is a sports town. They were going crazy when the Chiefs were horrible, when the Royals have been horrible. They are just always passionate, and they always care.
Yeah, and you could have the World Cup. It would be inconvenient for media and for fans because of hotel situations, but you could literally have games in college towns around the country. And you would have plenty of seats in stadiums. You'd have more seats in stadiums, especially if you do it at the bigger Power 4 schools. You'd have if they did games like the Big House and the Horseshoe and all these other college stadiums out there, you could get more people than you could get at most NFL stadiums, because those stadiums are 80, 90,000 plus. I think Michigan's is I think their average attendance over 100,000 per game.
Yeah.
So it's you could do that and have no problem making the kind of money that you were making here, because you're doing it in these college stadiums, which are massive. So it's just, I think that's one of the things a lot of foreigners had a big epiphany when they came here, and they realized, hey, we got these big ass stadiums everywhere. Every state has 2 or 3. Yeah. And, because for college and for pro. And some of them have more. You go to Texas, I think it's 5 or 6 maybe.
They probably could have played at some high school football stadiums in
Texas. Yeah. There are some
probably
high
would have been big enough for a couple of the games.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's that's a lot of, and the U.S. is one of the few countries in the world, maybe the only country in the world, that by itself could very easily handle World Cup just from a facility standpoint, from all the teams that are around. Kansas City had 4 teams in the area out of the 48 teams that were there. So I think Kansas City showed out really well. I went to FIFA Fan Fest on the day that Colombia played Ghana. It was incredible. Big shout out to my girl Jillian Carol Latrenko for hooking me up with some Legacy Lounge passes. Got to eat some fancy hot dogs and sit in the AC on a 90-degree day. So I appreciate that for her. But it was really cool getting to see all the fans at FIFA Fan Fest. And the prices weren't crazy for the food and drink at Fan Fest. I thought they was gonna be because you saw some of them stadium prices and they were a little crazy. Not that bad at Fan Fest. I actually thought they did a good job with that. They had a lot of really good entertainment there. When I went, there was some country singer. I can't remember her name. I'm not big into country, so that wasn't my thing. But I was happy for all the people in attendance that got to see that because, clearly, I think she's like an American Idol winner or something, or went deep on the.
Was it Miranda Lambert? Is that?
No, it wasn't her.
There's been so many events where the
Grace
All-Star game
something or something I can't remember. Somebody on the text line.
Somebody will know it.
Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965 might know it, but I don't remember. But yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the Fan Fest there. Didn't have a great selection in the little FIFA store that they had at Fan Fest. It was just, I think it was Brazil and Algeria jerseys. That was it. And I was like, that's a weird combination there. But I think like I said, I really enjoyed how Kansas City showed out for the World Cup. And it's funny. I think the word on the street right now is that the United States is leading in the race for the 2038 World Cup. So, we all thought this was going to possibly be a once-in-a-lifetime type deal, getting the World Cup here. Mm-hmm. It might not be. We might be talking about 12 years from now.
Well, the women are coming here, too, is it 31?
I think it's 31.
That the Women's World Cup is going to be in the U.S., so.
Yeah, so Kansas City might be
Oh, I'm sure.
I would assume, especially with the current. And
we'd got to be one of the leading, after the way we just, showed out for this. And, being the only, being the first women's team to have their own stadium built for them. I mean, there's not a better spot for it to be than Kansas City.
Yeah, we got current our great run organization, and with that and with all the soccer facilities we have here, I would definitely suspect that in 31, Kansas City is one of those teams that's picked for the Women's World Cup, and then in 38, Men's World Cup, we might get a repeat there. And for those of y'all that didn't want to pay them crazy ass prices on tickets like me, because I did not, I looked at the prices, I was like, nah. And especially because I had to buy a new TV before the World Cup, because my TV went out. So I was like, World Cup tickets or TV? And, I'm a big person on cost per use. And that cost per use for the World Cup ticket versus the TV, it wasn't mathing out very well for the tickets. So got me a TV, and I got to enjoy all these great games in the World Cup. The World Cup games have been incredible. Today's game was great. Yesterday's game, low scoring on the France side, but still great game from Spain. I've really, really enjoyed what we've seen soccer-wise the last month. And in my opinion, this is the best World Cup I've ever seen. It was one of the best World Cups we've ever seen played. And if you're someone that was on the fence about the game, hopefully the last month has changed your mind about what soccer can be. Doesn't need to be football here in America. It probably won't pass basketball because basketball is a very, very popular sport. But maybe decades down the line, it could be number 3 in the country. And if it's number 3 in the country, then, maybe at some point the United States can win the World Cup. Coming up next, we're going to talk about that and tell you how the United States can improve their men's national team for soccer.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
summer savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day summer sale. Save big this Friday through Sunday on summer favorites with hot deals throughout the store. Stock up and save big on fresh meat, produce, and other healthy finds. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery, and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the Hy-Vee 3-day summer sale this weekend only.
The Hy-Vee Market Grill is the best dining value in town. We love it for breakfast on the weekends, and now Thursday is steak day. You're going to get that perfectly grilled and seasoned steak with a baked potato and a side of sweet corn for just $12. You can't beat that deal anywhere in town. That's why the Hy-Vee Market Grill is a must on Thursdays for steak day. Dine in, carry out, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You're going to love the Hy-Vee Market Grill as much as I do. Don't forget, Thursday, $12 steaks, only at the Hy-Vee Market Grill.
If you miss being able to finish a road trip playlist on a road trip, we can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com. Have you ever seen a drive-thru as less of a lunch option and more as a challenge? We can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler craftsman at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, not with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Tonight, expect mostly clear skies with a low of 73.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Hey guys, it's Dusty Likens, and I have a new social media series called Range Bait that is up on all of 96.5 The Fan's social channels. I love golf. I talk about it. You know it. I watch it. I play it. So every week I'm headed out to the range to hit a bucket of balls and talk to you. It could be Royals conversation. It could be about how the chicken crossed the road. Who gives a rip? New videos will be released every Thursday on the Fan's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter pages. Range Bait with me, Dusty Likens, on your home for Kansas City Sports 96.5 The Fan.
During the break, Jackson made a good point. Why is the WNBA only got one game going on tonight? The worst night of all year of sports. Why does the WNBA not capitalize and make this like a big Wednesday type situation? Doesn't make any sense. One game tonight.
They had 2 day games.
That's it.
But they already had 2 games earlier today.
What are we doing?
Why would you not capitalize on tonight? It's I guess
they
the
played
ESPYs
the game.
are wrong.
Who cares about? I don't care about
the ESPYs are terrible. Let's be honest.
I do not care about.
But yeah, like
I didn't even know the ESPYs were tonight.
I didn't either.
Because I don't watch them.
I don't watch it either.
I don't watch them. I'm like that's because because the problem is they run it and then they do the next day, for the next week is just run repeats of it during the day. Though not good. It's gotten better, but it still sucks.
No, and I mean, the WNBA, I was like, because we were talking about there's no sports on, and I was like, during the break, I was like, well, actually, let me see if there's anything, let's see if they're on tonight.
Yeah.
And the Fever do play tonight, which is probably the one team that you would strategically want to put on tonight.
Yeah.
But still, one game, that's it. Like, this is your night. You have no competition.
Nothing, because, the SBs are very niche. And the ESPYs is going to pull what, 2-3 million?
Who cares?
2-3 million people, and most of the time it's just going to be people talking about it on Twitter. That's
the
it.
ESPYs used to feel like a big deal.
Yeah.
I used to be 15-ish. I used to be like, I'll tune in.
Oh, that's way later for me. It was 20 years ago, and I was like, this actually isn't that good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you had the one year where Peyton Manning roasted Kevin Durant, and there was kind of funny.
That wasn't bad.
There were some moments.
He was actually a good host.
Or I think there was the one year Stuart Scott was there, and that was a really cool moment.
The Stuart Scott one was great.
So there's been some good moments, but in the last decade, it's just gone off a cliff. No one cares anymore.
No, I do not.
And it's why we call this the worst sports day of the year.
Yeah, I literally did not know the ESPYs were tonight. I also don't watch SportsCenter very much, so I haven't seen the advertisements for it.
Yeah,
but you brought up a great point. WNBA probably should be capitalizing on that.
They should probably have a full slate tonight. It should.
A nice little doubleheader.
Something good.
Yeah.
Get on prime time.
Get the Fever on in the early game. Maybe put the Aces on for the late game.
They could have
for the West Coast audience. Nope. You decided that you were gonna skip out on that because you wanted to pay respects to the ESPYs, which doesn't make any sense to me. So before the break, I talked about how maybe at some point, a few decades, the U.S. men's national team could possibly win the World Cup. I thought it was funny that after the group stage, there were a lot of, really after the first two matches of the group stage, Australia and Paraguay, you had fans here who obviously don't watch a lot of soccer. And so they see the U.S. go out there and you smack around Paraguay 4-1, you smack around Australia 2-0, and all of a sudden now you got fans like, oh, can the U.S. win the World Cup? And I respect people getting interested in the World Cup, because you know how we are as American sports fans. We bandwagon the hell out of great American sports teams. Because, boy, I tell you this, the support that the U.S. women's national team gets whenever the World Cup happens drops after the World Cup. People love the U.S. women's national team when they go in and get their every 4-year gold medal in the World Cup, and then after that they don't really pay attention to women's soccer after that. Most of those people are not watching the NWSL or any of the other women that play overseas in Europe and whatnot after the fact. But boy, during the Women's World Cup, they love themselves some U.S. women's national team soccer. But I just found it funny how many people were trying to convince themselves that the U.S. had a chance to win the World Cup. And then, they lost to Belgium in the round of 16. And there were a lot of people kind of up in arms about that loss. And, well, we got to get rid of Pochettino and Christian Pulisic and all that. And first off, I'll say this. Pochettino, untouchable. He did such a great job with the team this year. They overperformed in the group stage because at the beginning of the tournament, I thought Turkey was going to win the group, and I thought the U.S. was going to fight with Paraguay and Australia for the second spot in the group. And Turkey obviously fell apart and lost their first two matches. Then they did beat the U.S.
Kind of.
Unsurprising result.
Kind of.
They're really good. Turkey is really good. They should not have gone out of the group stage. They were really talented.
I mean, if the U.S. had something to play for in that final game, they might have gone 0-3.
Maybe.
Because the U.S. played a good, solid game for having nothing to play for. I mean, they were.
Yeah, but they were outmatched.
Sure.
Turkey was a much more talented team. They got players who play for real teams on that team. Yeah, they did rest some guys. The U.S. did rest some guys. They did not. There were guys that they I'm sure that there were some guys out there that were taking a little easy, trying not to put too much out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's week 18 and you've already clinched the division and you just
But
you don't want to avoid injury.
Even if the U.S. had gone 100%, I thought Turkey would have won because they're really talented. But the question becomes, well, how does the United States men's national team win the World Cup? And Alexi Lawless had his little thing that he said. He tried to defend the current system and, these guys have to make money and all of that. And, and then you look at, what was it, Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight, which was not the person I thought was going to be the one spearheading criticism for U.S. soccer, but he did it on Dan Patrick's show. I think it was last week. And then I think it was yesterday, he put something out in response to Alexi Lawless's response to what he said last week on Dan Patrick's show. And look, the biggest problem that the U.S. soccer has, above all else, is the fact that right now soccer is kind of like golf and tennis in that it's kind of a rich person's sport in the U.S. It is, and I know this because I ref youth soccer. I'm around this a lot, and I know this from experience. And a lot of the people that have their kids go out there and play youth soccer, they are not poor. They are I'm not saying these people are super rich. I'm not saying, because again, I'm doing like instructional level reffing. This isn't like the high-end club stuff that you see them kids overseas go do before they go get signed by a club at 16 years old and they're on their path to becoming a great in soccer in Europe. But first off, there are some really damn good kids at the level that I ref at. And you could definitely tell these kids are probably going to go somewhere with this. And I always tell them, I'm like, hey, if you stick with this, you're gonna do something with it. So, definitely, as long as it's something you want to do, put in effort because you can make some money off this sport. But the problem is there's a big lack of access for people in poorer communities. And I know this because I grew up in a poor community and we did not have soccer readily available the way that we had football and basketball available. It was easy to go play flag football when I was a kid. It was easy to go play South Suburban basketball when I was a kid. I used to see stuff like that everywhere. I didn't see nothing for soccer. We didn't have facilities like that for soccer. We didn't even play at my high school the first year that I played soccer. We played at our alternative school. And then the Chiefs hooked up my school district with the turf field for our football field my senior year. And then we finally got to actually play games at our home stadium, at our football stadium, and for the first time ever. Like that's how bad the facilities are in a lot of places over on the Missouri side. And some schools do have great fields and whatnot. I remember I played at Truman and they had a turf field there, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible! Like I am so fast on this turf. Because it's rubber, it's got the rubber pellets, and you bounce off of it. I was like, this is incredible. And so like it's just not that accessible for a lot of people in a lot of like lower income areas. But you know what? Football is. And then you see those kids, they work their way up. A lot of them will play Pop Warner or some other version of that. And then they play for their middle school. And some of these kids actually end up nowadays getting on 7-on-7 teams. And then that's how they train. So receivers are training. That's why these receivers are coming in. They're so much better coming into college than any kids were back when I was growing up. Where now, like those kids came in and you had to wait a year or two before they were going to be ready to play college ball. Now you got guys like Malachi Toney coming out there, Jeremiah Smith coming out, and as true freshmen, they are legitimately like one of the best receivers in the country. Better than people that have been playing college ball for years. Because you have great developmental systems. You have colleges, not colleges, but high schools that are basically running like a college program. You have college level strength and conditioning programs. So these kids are coming out and they are basically NFL size out of high school, going to college. And you look at soccer and it's not that accessible for most people. That's the reason why we're not that great at soccer. Because we don't have Jamar Chases playing soccer. We don't have Justin Jefferson's playing soccer. We don't have Patrick Mahomes playing soccer. Those guys play football. That's your problem. If you had more guys like that, more freak of nature athletes playing the sport, if you had better access, more people playing it, you would get a better crop of talent. It has to be a game of numbers. It can't be about just let's have a bunch of facilities. You have to have a bunch of players trying to play the game, and then you give them that opportunity to succeed. And if they happen to fall in love with it and they stick with it, then those guys can go on to be soccer greats and help us win a World Cup.
I'll tell you the other thing is there's a lot of multiple sport athletes in high school. Whenever you're doing it, they'll play football, basketball, and then they'll run track. One of the big problems, I think, is that football and soccer are in the same season if you're doing men's. A lot of men's are in the fall along with football, so you're kind of forced to pick at that point. You can't play both. Because I was thinking multiple times during this World Cup, Chris, and again, I'm a huge casual, but I'm like, man, if Tyreek Hill was out there, like just a guy like that, he could, or Lamar, or like.
Imagine if, Lamar. Think about Lamar
like these guys
was playing on the front line.
If they chose to play soccer from a young age instead of football, they're athletic freaks. They would have killed it. Like they would have been good at any sport they wanted to play. And so I was just thinking, like, but you kind of have to choose if you want to play football, right? Because soccer and football are at the same time.
Right.
So you can't play both. I mean, unless you're like a kicker, and they're like, we'll have you play soccer. And
there were kids that on my soccer team that also doubled as the kicker on the football team.
But you can't be a quarterback and then be a midfielder.
No.
You got to pick. You can't.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's part of it. And in America, you're more inclined and you're more pushed towards playing football or playing basketball than you are if you're born in Argentina and it's like play soccer. And so that's, another big problem. But you're right because, when I went to UMKC, Chris, the tennis team, all foreign, the soccer team, and they have a really good men's soccer team at UMKC right now. Like they've gone to the tournament 2 years in a row. They just hosted a tournament game this past year. Basically 95% foreign players. There's a few, guys from around the area, but mostly all foreign players. And yeah, I mean, it's just growing up, like you're not pushing American football over in England. You're pushing soccer. And so same way here, you're not pushing soccer as much. And maybe that changes now that we hosted the World Cup and more people will be interested in it, just because they've been exposed to it more. But you're right, there is kind of a paywall behind it. And until that's fixed, nothing's really going to happen because we've seen so many guys like, one of the great quotes is like a Michael Irvin saying like, you're going to run that slant.
You're going to run back to the ghetto.
You're running back to the ghetto.
Yep.
Like, there's no equivalent to that in soccer.
No.
You've heard so many guys be like, this was really my only way out. My family was poor. Like we had to do this. I had to make it or there was no other option. That doesn't really apply to tennis or soccer. Like
some of these kids are playing semi-pro at middle school age. Like I think Messi was like 15 years old with Barcelona.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? What was his name? Cristiano Ronaldo was like a semi-pro at 12 years old. He was at 12 years old. I was not playing with grown-ass men in soccer. Cristiano Ronaldo was. Like that just goes to show you the difference. And like, we can have some criticism about like having kids go out there and dedicate their whole life to playing a sport instead of being a kid. I do think that they should still be kids, but like, let's be honest here. A lot of times we're not giving these kids the best tools to succeed when it comes to soccer, and we're definitely not doing it in areas that are not affluent. And that's, I think, our biggest problem. Coming up next, we talk about whether or not all-star games still matter.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Today's match day preview is presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. Download the Fanatic Sportsbook app today. Winning hits different here. The World Soccer Championship has been incredible, and there are only 2 games left to go. Let's look back at some of the best games of the tournament so far, including England defeating Mexico in the round of 16. England was minus 130, favorite to qualify for the next round, and escaped with the win. How about the upset of the tournament when Paraguay defeated Germany in Boston? Paraguay was plus 560 to qualify for the next round and took down Germany in penalty kicks. Finally, we nearly had an all-time upset with Cape Verde. Argentina was minus 1,700 to qualify for the next round. They needed extra time to win. It's been an amazing tournament, and the third-place game in Miami and the final in East Rutherford, New Jersey should be great as well. This has been your official Odyssey Sports Match Day preview, brought to you by Fanatic Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Listen in ahead of each match day for the latest betting insights from Fanatics all tournament long.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
Leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
The Outlaws are rolling in and they're bringing the thunder. Get ready for the Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull. Saturday, July 18th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Feel the power as 11 elite classes rip down 2 tracks with 10,000-pound pro stock tractors going head-to-head for total dominance. Gates open at 4, engines fire at 7. Tickets just $25 at the gate. Don't miss the dirt flying, horsepower-packed Show Me Shootout in Warrensburg. Get details now on Facebook. Search Show Me Shootout Warrensburg, Missouri.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Somebody on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line said that they spent $120 on 6 beers at FanFest. First off, it's too damn hot to be drinking that much alcohol out there because alcohol dehydrates you. So I know you was dying out there. Hopefully you was getting to them hydration stations they had around there and staying hydrated with water too. Because when I went out there on the 3rd, it was bad. Luckily, some clouds rolled in and killed some of the heat for a little bit. But then the sun came back and it was real tough. I was getting cooked out there. Like I got a nice little tan out there. So I was feeling. But it was. FanFest was fun. I enjoyed, like Kansas City, they showed out for the World Cup. I really enjoyed it. So, do you like All-Star games, Jackson?
Depends on which one.
Which ones do you like?
I like the MLB All-Star game, which just obviously happened last night.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that.
Yep.
And casually, I'm not huge into it, but I do like what the NHL has started to do with the 4 nations and that sort of deal. That's been fun. I do not like the Pro Bowl. I don't think anybody likes the Pro Bowl.
Nobody likes the Pro Bowl.
Unfortunately, over the years, I have begun to hate the NBA All-Star game. So I would say
nobody likes the NBA All-Star game either.
But it wasn't always like that.
It was not always like that.
I remember growing up as a young kid, going into my teenage years watching Kobe and LeBron take it seriously. And then all of a sudden it just became nobody cares anymore. And I also used to really love the 3-point shootout and the dunk contest, and the dunk contest has become awful. So I'd say MLB All-Star Game is probably my favorite. The Home Run Derby is always fun, and it's really the only All-Star game where they actually try their hardest still. Like, it felt like last night, that was a real baseball game. It wasn't just a joke. They weren't out there throwing 80. Like, they were still throwing 95. Like, they want to compete, and that's the nature of baseball. So, me personally, depends on which one. Baseball's probably my favorite event when you combine the home run derby and the game itself.
So I agree with you. I think easily the best remaining All-Star game is probably the Major League Baseball All-Star game because they play a serious baseball game. I think the one that has the best presentation is the NHL because the Four Nations deal. I thought that was cool. I wouldn't even call myself a casual hockey fan. Like, I'm a Knights fan. I'm a Golden Knights fan. I might be able to name like a couple players on that team. Like, I really just check them out when I can. I don't have anything else going on. I'll throw some hockey on. But like, I'm not following the teams. I'm not following the games. I'm not watching all the playoff. Like, if I'm watching like playoff hockey, it's because nothing else is on. And usually something else is on because at the same time, NBA playoffs are going on. So don't really get a chance to watch a lot of hockey generally because I got other priorities. But I'll say this. All-Star games have really become obsolete. But I still like that we have them. But it's like we gotta stop with the outrage about All-Star games because like now they are what they are. They're just an exhibition where we honor players that are probably not. Most of them will not play for a championship that season. But it was a cool format that was a great way to kind of honor players who were really awesome, but probably weren't going to play for a championship. And also, we always have them discussions of, well, if you had a team full of these great players and these great players who will win. We do that all the time. On the internet, they'll post like, you had $15 to build a top 5 roster. Or like, what is it now, the 82-0 thing that you're seeing people do now? Like, it's like that. Like, we still like the concept of having a bunch of great players play together and how great they could be. That's the reason why the super team thing took off for a while until people got tired of seeing the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals every year. And it was like, okay, we're tired of super teams. But I think the problem with the idea of all-star games is the thing that really killed it was ring culture, was the fact that we now don't really pay players respect that they deserve unless they are winning championships or have won a championship. And I think that's very unfortunate because if like you go back and you look at because this is like one of the greatest tests, I think, of how disrespectful we can be to people who don't win championships is like you ask the question, should Marty Schottenheimer be in the NFL, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? I think yes. Because to me, like a great coach doesn't have to win a Super Bowl to be a great coach. Just like a great player doesn't have to be a great player to be a Hall of Fame level player. But for some reason, we have made it so that even though there's 3 coaches in the Hall of Fame that didn't win Super Bowls, for some reason we make it like, you got to win a Super Bowl to get into the Hall of Fame. But there's plenty of great coaches who have never won championships in multiple sports that deserve to be honored for what they contributed to the sport, either strategically or just from a good coaching standpoint, because they put together some really damn good teams, And that's the reason why, I think Marty should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because he was a great coach. He was arguably one of the top 2 coaches for 3 different organizations in their history. And you don't have a lot of teams you don't have a lot of coaches that can say that with 3 different franchises. And, he's probably top 3 for the Chiefs. But that's really my whole point with what really has kind of killed all-star games is that we look at these players and you could be an NBA player that scores 25 points per game, but your team is going to lose in the first round. And they're like, he's not that great. I don't really care about that player. He's not that good. And that's kind of taken the mystique away. It's like when we look at players in the NFL, think about how many quarterbacks we talk bad about because they haven't won a championship. Think about the disrespect. It's funny because people love on Josh Allen, and then you talk about Lamar Jackson, and you get these people come out of the woodworks that disrespect him, even though he has the same amount of rings as Josh Allen and more MVPs than Josh Allen. You look at a lot of these players that play all throughout sports, and we don't really pay them the respect that they deserve for what they accomplished because they haven't accomplished that ultimate goal. And I think that's what's really killed All-Star games, because now we're just worried about the championship. And the teams and players are worried more about championships because of that. Because nowadays, like you brought up the NBA All-Star game, like none of those guys try. Like nobody plays defense. Like that's the one time, as if you're hating on the NBA, you can say the NBA players are not playing defense. It's the All-Star game because they don't play defense in the All-Star game. They don't really play offense in the All-Star game. They just, if they got an open lane, they just drive down for an uncontested dunk or they shoot a three. And, that's what it is. You talk about the dunk contest. You got guys you got G League players competing in the dunk contest. Who wants to watch Mac McClung win another All-Star, even though he can't make an NBA roster? Let's watch him go out and win the dunk contest. Like, you lost the star power in that because none of those guys want to do it. Because LeBron James is like, I'm trying to win as many rings as possible, and I don't want to risk my health by doing the dunk contest. And then, no Kevin Durant in it. I mean, I think the last real superstar we had do it, Dwight Howard. Like almost 20 years ago now. Like, was that the last one?
Like the Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard times.
Blake Griffin. He was the last
Jumping
one.
over the
Blake.
Kia, yeah.
Yeah. Like Blake was the last, you could say, superstar that competed in the dunk contest, and he was like the only one in the league that did it. Like the only real superstar that did it. No Melo. Like, we don't get none of these guys. Did Dwayne Wade ever do it? I don't think Dwayne Wade.
I don't think so.
Contest.
But I'll argue. I'll throw a little bit back on you here, Chris, because I'll argue this. I don't think it necessarily has to be stars, because the last great dunk contest was LaVine and Gordon. And I don't think either of us would consider Zach LaVine or Aaron Gordon a superstar.
No.
That's probably one of the top 5 greatest dunk contests we've ever watched.
Right, in terms of quality.
In terms of quality, yes.
And the problem is the hype.
But right now, you're missing both. You're missing the quality, and you're missing
the right
players. Like, you're missing both at this point. And we've even gotten to the point where, we're going below Mac McClung. Like, we're getting just guys straight out of the G League to come up and do it.
Yeah,
no one
Mac
you've ever heard
McClung
of.
was in the G League this year, and he didn't do it, I think.
Yeah,
because
he said no.
He was in
like,
the
I'm
G
done.
League.
I've done it too many times.
Yeah, because he was in the G League.
He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Like, think about it. They keep calling on him to go win this dunk contest because none of the star players want to do it. Like, think about if Wemby were to do it. Just one time, do it. Just do it. He didn't have to jump that high.
Anthony Edwards, he would kill it.
Yes. Like, Anthony Edwards should be like a prime candidate for the dunk contest. Easy candidate for the dunk contest. Probably is never going to do it in his career. Like, that part, because everyone's so focused, gotta win rings, because I don't want to end up like Charles Barkley, where every year we disrespect his legacy because he didn't win a ring, even though he was one of the best players at his position in his era. We disrespect that because he didn't win a ring, because he happened to play at the same time that the greatest basketball player of all time played. And that's what I think the biggest problem is with these all-star games. Like in the NFL, same thing. None of these guys want to try because they don't want to risk getting hurt. Because at the end of the day, winning a Super Bowl is going to mean much more than this exhibition for the fans. And I think if we were to appreciate the stars more, and we would appreciate the guys that don't win championships, if we were to pay respects to the guys that lose in the wild card round every year, but man, they have some fun games out there, I think there'd be more guys more inclined to go and participate in these games. It wouldn't be like as much as it used to be, but certainly I think it'd be a lot more than what we have right now. So I think we should appreciate the non-elite players a little bit more than we do. Coming up next, the Chiefs are a couple weeks away from the start of training camp, and we're going to talk about how we're feeling about this team.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Right, soccer fans, listen up. If you'd like a proper celebration, come on, you know where to go this summer. Gordon Ramsay Steak inside Harrah's Kansas City is the place to be. Now, we're talking beautiful marble cuts, cooked to absolute utter perfection, and flavors you can't get anywhere else. Stop settling for mediocre and let me help you. Come in, sit down, and let my team show you how to cook a proper steak. Now, 21 or older to gamble, know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. This month, we are offering a camera inspection and diagnosis of your main sewer for only $129. If you haven't used this yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off, and that means your bet goes with them. Well, not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. Even if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you keep your bet alive, and it keeps you in the action for even longer. So now you're in it until the final whistle. The Super Sub covers the entire game, including extra time. This summer is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be even better with our friends over at FanDuel. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. Look for the yellow Super Sub icon on the same page and the My Bets page. If your player leaves the match due to substitution or injury, your bet automatically will transfer to the substitute who replaces that player. Go to FanDuel.com/local. Let there be goals this summer for the World Soccer Championship with FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Is there anything Albert, my AI financial assistant, can't do? Albert, can you create a financial plan just for me?
Yes. I've reviewed your accounts, income, and spending. Here's your plan and a few suggestions.
Great. Any savings I'm missing out on?
I reorganized your budget and found an extra $500 this month. Would you like me to transfer that to your savings?
Sure.
Done.
Oh, I'm thinking about moving. Can you get me more cash?
Albert can get you a loan up to $10,000 fast. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect. Looks like Albert really can do everything.
Download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to try Genius, your AI financial assistant, and get up to $10,000. Just download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to try Genius and get up to $10,000. Promo code PLAN.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Baseball season is in full swing, and you can trade every game over on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you trade every game, futures, and even the all-star events. For instance, maybe you're thinking about, well, I want to figure out who's going to take home the trophy. Maybe you like Milwaukee to do so. A $100 trade over on Kalshi right now could net you a $1,068 payout. Those are the kind of things you can do over there on Kalshi, because over there you're trading against a person in a live market, meaning there is no house, and the probability changes. You can buy in and out of your position depending on what position of yours you like. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, visit kelsey.com/regulatory.
Community Blood Center has declared a blood emergency as our community faces a critically low blood supply. The Chiefs, KC Current, Sporting KC, and the Royals are partnering to urge KC fans to donate blood. Donate now through July 19th to receive a We Bleed KC Stadium bag. While supplies last, let's get out and save some lives. Walk-in donations are available at any of our centers, or schedule an appointment online at savealifenow.org.
Summer savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day summer sale. Save big this Friday through Sunday on summer favorites with hot deals throughout the store. Stock up and save big on fresh meat, produce, and other healthy finds. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery, and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the Hy-Vee 3-day summer sale this weekend only.
The Hy-Vee Market Grill is the best dining value in town. We love it for breakfast on the weekends, and now Thursday is steak day. You're going to get that perfectly grilled and seasoned steak with a baked potato and a side of sweet corn for just $12. You can't beat that deal anywhere in town. That's why the Hy-Vee Market Grill is a must on Thursdays for steak day. Dine in, carry out, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You're going to love the Hy-Vee Market Grill as much as I do. Don't forget, Thursday, $12 steaks, only at the Hy-Vee Market Grill.
The world's game at BetMGM is here. Bet on the soccer showdowns with 2-up early payout so that if you're up 2, BetMGM will pay you. That's right. Place a pre-game straight match result bet on any tournament game. If at any point your team is up by 2 goals, you'll instantly win your bet. Then enjoy BetMGM same-game parlays, daily promotions, player props, and so much more for the world's game. Don't miss your shot at an early win with 2-up early payout to get paid out if at any point your team is up by 2 goals. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This promotional offer not available in Ontario, Pennsylvania, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. New and existing customer offer, subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel, must be present in a state where it's legal to wager.
This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Second hour. That first hour flew by here on After Hours. Christian Cero, Jackson Ogden. I asked C-Dot when he got off the air with the drive. I was like, I know you are feeling really good right now, having the last month of World Cup talk. Because for those of y'all who don't know, this is the dead season for sports talk. Because we're big on football, and then if the Royals are good, baseball. Fortunately, the Royals are not good right now, so it makes it tough for us to talk baseball in a big way. Because you start talking about something negative like the Royals a whole bunch, and you start pissing off a bunch of fans, And, we're 2 weeks away from the start of training camp, so it was nice to have the World Cup the last month. And we'll see the third place game and then the final on Sunday for the World Cup, and then, we'll be done with the World Cup for the next 4 years. Oh, actually, no, we got the Women's World Cup next year, so we do have that to talk about. And I guarantee you we'll talk about that for sure because maybe not as in-depth as we did the Men's World Cup this year because it's, the Women's World Cup is not here. But we'll definitely still talk about it because the U.S. women's national team is great at it, and people are going to be interested in it because they're great at it. So, but yeah, this has been a really awesome last month, and it's been a great way for fans, for listeners here, to be able to hear something that isn't just, well, how are the Chiefs going to do in training camp for, through June and July? But we're 2 weeks away from the start of training camp, and it has me wondering how we're feeling about the Chiefs with training camp starting up. If you don't know, I do a podcast called Character Concerns. It is on the Odyssey app, wherever you listen to podcasts. Me and Jay Binkley, we do that together. We've been doing it now. This will be our 4th season doing it. We've done 4 drafts, and this will be our 4th season doing the podcast. And it's a Chiefs-centered podcast that is about the NFL draft. And we follow the prospects throughout the season and give our takes on who we think are going to be the best fits for the Chiefs, which Chiefs kind of throw that in the flux with the way they drafted this year. But we try to give you the best scouting so that when you talk to your friends about the NFL draft, you sound smarter than them because you just copy what we said. So make sure you download, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're going to be putting out we're going to start the 4th season up next Monday. We're going to do an episode on Brendan Sorsby and the Protect College Sports Act. And then after that, training camp, and then we're going to start doing player previews. So make sure you download, subscribe, tell your friends about it. We appreciate the support. But how are we feeling about the Chiefs 2 weeks before training camp? And I know there's a lot of people out there that are maybe a little apprehensive because Patrick Mahomes' injury, and there's a lot of question marks about the receiving core, about the right tackle position, about the pass rush, about the secondary. And if you're anxious about it, I get it. I completely understand why you would be anxious about this Kansas City Chiefs team because, I mean, let's keep it a buck. Like, last year was not good. Last year was a year where they had opportunities to win games that they normally win, and they lost them. And then on top of that, you had a bunch of injuries at positions all around. George Karlaftis was hurt all year. Patrick Mahomes got hurt towards the end of the year. You had injuries in the receiving core, on the D-line, just all over the place. And it puts you in a tough spot in a lot of games. And games that you would normally win, you did not because you had players that weren't available or players that were hurt while they were playing, and their play suffered because of it. And they made a lot of moves in the offseason. You went out and you got Kenneth Walker, the best available running back, in my opinion, in free agency. And I think you improved your run game a lot. And they didn't make a big move at wide receiver like me and Bink were hoping. We were hoping they would draft a receiver in the first round. They did not. The first round that they drafted a receiver was in round 5. They took Cyrus Allen, the kid out of Cincy. But first off, I want to alleviate some of those concerns. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to play week 1. There was actually a thing that just came out, I think, earlier today that said that Patrick Mahomes is still aiming for week 1. I said this the day after he tore his ACL on the Character Concerns podcast. I said, I was like, don't be shocked if Patrick Mahomes is ready by week 1 because he's a freak athlete. He has great genetics. And just based on what he's done while hurt in the past, you know, how he performed during the 22 playoffs when he had that high ankle sprain, and he went out there and he took care of the Jags. And then they took care of, was that the Bills? No, it was the Bengals. And then obviously you went and took care of the Eagles in the Super Bowl that year. He did that all while he was basically on one leg. And he was in incredible pain, and he would aggravate that injury in every game that he played after he sustained it in the Jags game. And it didn't matter. He still went out there and made plays to win. That, and also, you know, the way that he was able to quickly recover from his patellar tendon, I mean, his patella dislocation. And, you know, that a lot of times can have additional damage besides just the misplaced patella. It can also damage ligaments and whatnot around there, and it could be a more serious injury. He didn't have that happen because he's got really good genetics, and his tendons and ligaments and whatnot are very pliable. So good thing on him. But I think that there's a very good and real chance that he plays week 1. And don't be shocked if he sees a drive in one of these preseason games coming up. Maybe even, because you remember, what was it, preseason game 3 last year? They played the starting offense. Was it like 2 or 3 drives?
Basically the whole quarter.
Yeah.
It was close to the whole quarter. They were playing Chicago, and they went right down the field, hit Rice on a touchdown, and then they went right back down the field, scored again.
Yeah.
And the offense just looked unbelievable, but everybody also knew Rice wasn't going to play for 6 more weeks after that. So that's also a big reason why Rice was getting those reps, is because they knew he was going to be out for a while from real game action. And but yeah, no, Andy's one of those old school coaches that still plays the guys in the preseason. You've got your Sean McVays that don't care if Stafford takes a snap, and that's kind of the new trend. You've got guys like that.
Belichick didn't play Tom Brady almost ever.
Yeah, I mean, and he's as old school
Peyton
as it
Manning
gets,
didn't play in the preseason either under Dungy.
It's coach to coach, but Reed has always been one of those coaches that likes to at least get him a little bit of reps. And Mahomes has always said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's always like, I like to get that first hit out of the way every year.
Yeah.
I like to get hit once, just, like get it going again. Because they, through the season, you get hit a lot. But when you have the whole offseason, nobody can touch you at training camp or OTAs or anything. Yeah, that first lick, that first hit's like, all right, now we're back. Like, we're back in the groove of things. And I'm sure this year, more than any, he's probably ready to test it. He's probably ready to get hit down low for the first time, because he's probably, if I were in his shoes, I'd be nervous. And right, like, you want that first hit back. You want to get back to just feeling like you're a football player again, and not just rehabbing over and over again. You're actually out there doing what you love, and you're out there performing at the highest of your abilities. The reason you're rehabbing so hard. So I think I wouldn't be shocked, like you said, if Mahomes does play a preseason drive. It'll probably be a lot of screens. It'll probably be a lot of short stuff. It won't be, hey, Mahomes, go do, run around back in the pocket and make something crazy happen. It'll probably be simple stuff, but I agree. I wouldn't be shocked, and I think we're looking at, I'd put it at the 85%-ish confidence that he's playing week 1 now. I'd say I'm pretty much certain he'll be there week 1 to start.
I think there's not going to be any limitations to what they're going to call for him.
In preseason?
Yeah.
Really?
I wouldn't, I'd say, and I said this before, I would not be shocked if on a third down, like 3rd and 4 or whatever, because they're probably going to run it the first couple plays.
Sure.
That third play, they're going to run like an outside zone to the left side of the offense. Mahomes is going to pull the ball on a bootleg, and he's going to run and get the first down. He's going to slide, and he's going to pop up. He's going to hike the crowd up.
I don't know if I can take that, Chris.
I know people are going to their heart's going to drop into their stomachs if he does that. But that is a Patrick Mahomes thing. That is absolutely Patrick Mahomes wanted to go back into that Chargers game after he knew he tore his ACL. He wanted to go back in. He wanted to go back in after he dislocated his patella against the Broncos in 2019. He was like, hey, I'm going back in. They're like, nah, you're not. Like, we obviously saw the little tirade he went on in the Jags game when he got the high ankle sprain. And Andy was like, you're not going back out there until you get an X-ray on your ankle, because we want to know if you fractured it or not.
And he's like, no, we'll just do it at half. We'll just do it at half.
He's like, no, you are not going back in until you get that X-ray.
But he throws the jacket down and says things I can't say right now.
Yeah, he dropped the F-bomb, and he went down there begrudgingly, but he did it. It would not shock me if Mahomes is like, call a bootleg. Just call it. I do not care. Call a bootleg.
Or if he does it himself.
Yeah, he might
just goes out there and it's like,
yeah.
all right, Mahomes, we're going to run like sticks. And he goes out there and he just takes off.
That would not shock me.
Surprise me at all.
He might just do it.
And Andy and Andy and Eric Bieniemy are on the sideline like, don't ever do that again. And Mahomes is going crazy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me.
No, they'll probably just shake their heads and just move on, because that's the best you can do in that scenario.
Like, that's
You're not
Pat.
going to reprimand Patrick. You're just like shake hands like, just be careful, dog.
That's Pat.
But like that, to me, because that's the reason why I'm not that concerned about that. I also think Kenneth Walker's addition to the team is going to be huge for the offense. I said this a year ago, like in the lead up to a year and a half ago now, almost in the lead up to the 25 draft. Me and Bink were really wanting the Chiefs to get a running back. It was a great running back class, and I mean we saw 3 years of Isaiah Pacheco, and it wasn't great. And we were like, you got to get better. You got to get someone that has better vision and is going to be able to maneuver around the blocks that you have established in your scheme to find open space. Because Isaiah Pacheco basically runs with his head down and just rams into the first thing that he can hit. And it's the reason why he was not very efficient or effective here in Kansas City, other than his rookie year in 22. But, now that there's plenty of tape out there, and, he really didn't quite have the same burst after he came back from the broken ankle in 24. So it was just a terrible situation. And it was like, yeah, you got to get a replacement. And then they were like, oh, we'll give Isaiah another year. Didn't work out. And you really paid for it on offense because your running game is so bad that teams basically just didn't respect your run game at all. And they were like, we're just going to play deep coverage. We're going to do what England did against Argentina in the last 30 minutes. We're just going to play deep, play prevent defense, and dare you to just beat us with the short stuff.
Park the bus.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to park the bus against you because we know you're not going to kill us with the short stuff because you're not that good at it. You can't run the football. And your short passing game is really predictable. So this is the reason why. Like, Kenneth Walker is going to be important because you're going to get teams to respect the short game. Because the one thing that you didn't really force teams to do was put 8 in the box to try to get those 8-man run fits. Because that's where you can then start to tear these defenses up down the field. If you force teams to run 8-man run fits, that's 8 men in the box or around the box. And that means you got 3 guys playing deep coverage. And if you know anything about Andy's system, if you're running a bunch of cover 3 against him, he's going to rip you to shreds. That's what the Chiefs used to tear apart back during the great explosive offensive days from 18 to 20. It was all, oh, yeah, well, if you're just going to play one deep on us and you just play cover 3, we're just going to rip you apart with daggers and all these other different kind of concepts that you use to beat cover 3. And because teams didn't respect their run game, they were like, we'll just play 2 deep safeties and then dare you to throw the football down the field, but you're not gonna because it doesn't make any sense. It's not a smart move. Now with Kenneth Walker and with Emmett Johnson, who I'm a big fan of, and with Amari DeMercado, who might be very, very sneakily really good for this team, you're now adding a dimension of unpredictability to your offense. Because the great thing about that Andy Reid offense back from 18 to 20 was play action. Every time you ran play action, teams respected it because you ran the football so great with Jamal Charles. You ran the football so great with Kareem Hunt. And you ran it pretty well. Not as great, but pretty well with Damian Williams. Teams had to respect that. And then over time, the run game started to degrade after 22 to where teams knew that they didn't have to respect the Chiefs' run game. And so it got really frustrating watching them run the football because it was like a wasted down. It's like, well, you're running it and you're getting 3 yards. Now it's 2nd and 7. Incomplete pass, now it's 3rd and 7. Because teams are like, well, you're not going to run it 2 times in a row because you're getting 3 yards a carry. You're not that efficient at this stuff. So Kenneth Walker, let's say he's a 4.5 to 5 yard carry guy. Now teams have to respect that. First down run, he gets 5 yards, 2nd and 5. Now you're in a very good situation because ideally teams like to get 4 yards on first down at least. You get 4 yards, you're on schedule. If you can get 5 on first down, now you can start really working in with play action. Now you go play action, pull back. You have tons of options there. The Chiefs try to use RPOs instead of play action because of how bad they were at play action to try to get teams to think about the prospect of them throwing the football really short so it opened up things with the run game, but running the football from RPOs in the NFL sucks. It's not good.
Well, do you remember last year when they were playing Indianapolis at home, Chris?
Yeah.
And I think it was the first offensive play of the game. They got pinned deep after getting a stop, and they went RPO, and Mahomes threw a ball, and it got tipped and picked.
Yep.
And I don't think they ran an RPO the rest of the game.
No.
The rest of the game, they're like, we're done. Like,
No.
we're just going straight shotgun runs or whatever. I think they can be more creative with their running game as well now that they have Kenneth Walker and Emmett Johnson and all them. Like, I would not be shocked if we saw some explosive Xavier Worthy runs this year, just because in years past, if you brought Xavier Worthy in motion, they were going to follow him. They obviously were going to pay attention to him. He's a bigger threat than anybody you have behind you. But now, let's say you're going pre-snap, Mahomes under center, and you're bringing Worthy in motion. Not only do they got to worry about Worthy, but they also have to worry about Kenneth Walker up the middle. So you're adding another element, or if you really want to get creative with Brashard Smith out wide or Emmett Johnson as a pass-catching back or whatever you want to do, They just have so many more options now because they have a real threat at running back. Whereas last year, nobody respected the run game, like you said, in the slightest with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. They could get you 2 to 3 yards, sure. They didn't lose yards all. Kansas City was kind of funny. They actually were one of the best teams in the NFL last year, not having negative yard runs. They would always at least get 1 or 2, right? They weren't having disaster runs that went backwards, but again, you weren't getting home run runs either. You only had 3 runs of 20-plus yards last year. 1 was by Kareem, 1 was by Pat, and 1 was by Worthy. So you really had 1 all season by a running back. Now you have a real threat, and I believe it will open up the offense to a way that we haven't seen in a while.
And I think that's a good point. Because I do think that they didn't use Xavier Worthy the way they wanted to last year because of the shoulder injury, and I think that him being healthy, because we saw that at the beginning of his rookie year, first game against the Ravens, they were using him in the run game. They had him running jet sweeps and all of that, and it was great because he has that athleticism. You get him into open space with that speed, he's gone. That's your home run hitter there. You weren't able to do that because teams knew that your receivers were the only weapons you had on your offense. So if you play their receivers really aggressively, you take that away because they need space to be able to work because they don't have a bunch of big receivers there. So that's the reason why I think it's so important to have a run game, because you give them something else to have to think about. And when you force defenses in general to think, you start creating problems for them. Because defense, it's about reacting. It's not about thinking. You're reacting to the clues that you see pre-snap from players. You're reacting to information you see right after the snap. But you don't want to do a whole lot of thinking, because if you're thinking too much, you're getting out of position a lot of times. So that's the thing that really works out. You brought up like Xavier Worthy running like jet sweeps and whatnot. They could run tons of triple option plays where they have him. They have Tyquan Thornton running jet sweeps, or they have them come across in jet sweep motion. You do, play action with them, pull it back, you hand it off to Kenneth Walker, or maybe you do like a triple option type where you have an option to the receiver that's coming across on jet sweep. Nope. Running back on one side. Nope. And then you have a second running back on the other side. Maybe they loop around and you could do like a speed option type deal. You have so many things you could do if you have a competent run game, because it just opens things up for for your passing game. And that's the reason why I think like Kenneth Walker could really transform what this offense is doing. Coming up next, we're going to talk about our biggest concerns with this Chiefs team going into the 2026 season.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
It is out of here.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the 7th inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Today we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Jeremy.
I've been a RockAuto.com customer for over 15 years, and now even my kids order their parts there. Prices are always far lower than the local auto parts store. Selection is massive, and the site makes it unbelievably easy to find exactly what we need. Every order shows up fast, and the quality is always top tier. RockAuto.com has earned my trust for life, and I highly recommend them.
All the parts 'Cause your car will ever need Rock Auto.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane, third-generation owner at Shane Company. As a family jeweler for almost 100 years, we're known for doing right by our customers. Our legacy of integrity depends on it. We stand behind our engagement rings with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds, then negotiate for the best price. At Shane Company, we put you first because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Kansas City, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch all your favorite shows right from your phone, computer, or tablet. Every day, we stream the shows live on YouTube, plus clips from the biggest moments and biggest guests. Hit that subscribe button so 96.5 The Fan goes right to the top of your feed. In your car, on your phone, or on your computer, we are everywhere. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
We're halfway through this show. Flying by. It's always like this when we do these nights here. Here on After Hour. 96.5 The Fan, Crucino, Cero, Jackson, Ogden. The worst sports night of the year. Not a whole lot going on here. I have the one WNBA game that's on right now, the Valkyries and the Fever, and then I got wrestling on the TV up here in the on the TV.
There's I got some summer league on back here, so
yeah. I had the Suns game on earlier.
There's some stuff, I guess, but yeah, tough night for sports fans.
Tough night, yeah.
Like everybody listening.
Oh, there's also I did have some NWSL at Gotham and Washington.
Yep.
That was on
and they're playing at City. Like they're playing at the Met Stadium tonight.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's a big ass stadium.
Yeah,
that's a big ass
stadium.
So no, it's cool. I mean, it looked packed there too. It was a hell of a lot of people out there for that game there for Gotham. So there are sports going on, but typically this is the worst sports night of the year.
And, luckily the MLB has started putting games on the Thursday because it used to be the Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes,
you wouldn't have anything.
Nothing.
And I always referred to them as the worst 2 days of the year. I was like, there is just nothing. Like, if you want me to get a chore done, those are the 2 days of the year. Let's do the hard manual labor.
Yeah.
Let's repaint. Whatever we got to repaint.
You want to cut the grass
everything
late at
done
night?
now.
Yeah.
Like I went and got fitted today for a wedding I'm going to in a few months. Like it's like today, these next 2 days, I don't got anything to watch.
Take care of some stuff.
Let's
man.
get stuff done before it picks back up.
You want to go binge watch a show that you've been meaning to watch for a while?
Right.
Catch up on a season before it starts again in the fall. It's time to do it. Perfect night to do it. Summer's usually good for it anyways because ain't a whole lot on TV generally in the summer.
No, not really.
Yeah, no, not a whole lot. So what would be your biggest concern with the Kansas City Chiefs? I think the easiest is probably the receiving core.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not where I was going, but that's fair.
What would be yours?
I'd go with a young and inexperienced secondary.
Really?
I do think. Here's my thing. With Spags defenses, they have always, it doesn't matter if you have veterans or young guys, they have always gotten better throughout the season. Like, they never start at the peak. They don't come out week one and you're like, that's a top 5 defense. You normally have to get to October, November and that's a good thing, obviously, because that's when the important, the real big games start picking up. But you always have to get deeper into the season for those guys to start clicking and meshing. And we saw it in all of their Super Bowl years. That kind of worked. Really, the anomalies, the 23 team, that team was just a solid defensive unit the whole way. The offense just didn't pull their weight. But for me, it probably is the inexperienced secondary, just because you have so many new names in a new defense in a, somewhat complicated system that Spags runs. Obviously, I really do like Delane. I like Jaden Kennedy. I like some of the guys they've brought in to replace McDuffie, Watson, and Williams. But probably my biggest concern off the bat is, week one guarding Cortland Sutton and Jalen Waddle. Are those guys up for the task off the bat? Like, are they ready to go immediately? And we'll see, but that's probably, just the turnover in the secondary is probably my biggest concern.
I think that's my number 3 concern.
Okay.
Like, I think that's a very valid concern. Just the inexperience from a lot of guys in this system, because you brought up, You generally don't see the peak early in the season for the Chiefs. Generally, that doesn't happen till late October, early November is when the defense starts to put it together, especially the secondary. Because early in the season, you're trying to get used to the complex system that Spags runs with his defense, especially with his DBs, because they run a lot of checks on defense. And there's a whole, you have to be very intelligent to play Spags' system. That is not a system you can come in and not study at all and get playing time. You have to put in the work before the season, memorizing the playbook, understanding checks, terminology, things like that, because of how complex Spags' system is. So I do agree with you. Early in the season, I'm very, very going to be interested in, one, who the 2 outside corners are, because, I think the assumption is that's going to be Mansour Delane and Noel Williams, just based on Mansour's, 6th overall pick and, thought to be a L'Jarius Sneed clone at the position. And then Noel Williams was your best corner last year when he actually got to play. So I definitely health-wise, I am, Christian Fulton had injuries last year. L'Jarius Sneed has had a bad knee for 5 years now. Yeah. So, that is concerning. Luckily for him, he's hopefully your 4th.
Yeah,
corner.
He's not going to be asked to do what he was asked to do last time he was here.
Yeah.
But, it's just a lot of younger guys, and it'll be interesting because you brought up the complex system that Spags runs. It's a reason they love Nick Bolton. I see people in the fan base complain about Nick Bolton. He is the quarterback of that defense, and it is a complex defense to be the quarterback of, and he's just one of those more intelligent players in the league. I'm not going to put him up there on the tier of a Luke Kuechly, but he reminds me a bit of it in just the way he can direct traffic on that defense, and I think he'll be a huge part of early on in the season getting these guys in the right spots. And I think this training camp is going to be, they're all important, but this one's going to be very important to get those reps in for all these young guys.
Yeah, I think that, that and also, you've got Kader Kohu, who's coming back from an ACL. You brought up Jaden Kennedy, rookie. A lot of inexperience, a lot of guys coming back from injuries or have had histories with injuries. And right now, the only guy that you're looking at that is, we assume, healthy and doesn't have any issues with understanding the system is Noel Williams. That's it.
And he's only going into his 2nd year.
Right.
So it's not like he's a vet.
Right, yeah. So it's
he's still young himself.
So you feel like he has a lot more to grow. So yeah, I agree with you. I think DB is definitely, like I said, that's my number 3. Number 1 for me is receivers.
Yeah. I think we both kind of are on that. We've been on that train. Pre-draft, we were doing the show saying they should take Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that the receiving – and I'm not as down on the receiving core as like a lot of people are. Like Bink hates the receiving core.
He has for 2 years now.
He has. And he was – you should have seen him when they played the Chargers week 1.
Oh, he wanted Keenan Allen so bad.
It wasn't just that, though. He was like, they should have drafted 2 receivers. He was so mad. And I was like, the one they drafted didn't even get on the field. Do you think the other one was going to get on the field either? Like, what are we doing? We know how the Chiefs are rookie receivers. Like, Rashee Rice is the only guy, and Xavier Worthy, but he had to be.
They got thrown into it.
Yeah, there was baptism by fire because no one else who was a veteran still, was able to come out and step up and be the top guy. So you put those guys in tough spots there without great coaching and without a run game. But the receiving core for me is the biggest concern because I need to see growth. Like, maybe Xavier Worthy would have shown growth last year without the injury. Maybe. But we don't know. I mean, Rashee Rice hasn't grown. I mean, part of it has also been injuries. And there was a stretch when he came back from that injury, and also before he had that injury the season before, where he looked pretty damn nice. But also, down the stretch after those first 5 games after he came back from his suspension last year, he wasn't good. Then he got hurt, and then he didn't play the rest of the year. I want to see one. I mean, obviously at this point with Rashee, I just want to see him have a good year and contribute to the team. But Xavier Worthy, are you going to grow your game this year, or are you going to be the same guy you were 2 years ago? Tyquan Thornton, were you just a flash in the pan when the Chiefs needed you, or are you going to step up and be a really good third receiving option? Jalen Royals, can you get on the field? Because, I mean, I know he had the knee injury and whatnot, but can you get on the field? Like, I mean, just a few snaps a game? Can you get out there for 20 snaps a game? That'd be great. Are the Chiefs going to bring in a veteran? Because I still think that if Tyreek can play, because we don't know if he could play this year, that gruesome knee injury, and I think he supposedly has one more surgery left, and we're in the middle of July, so we'll see about this year. Maybe he's done. Maybe the window's closed for him to come back and play football because his age. But if he can go, you'd think he would be here in Kansas City based on kind of the stuff he's been putting out there. So maybe he comes in, but what can you expect from him? Can you expect him to be the same? I mean, I don't think you can expect him to be the same guy he was pre-injury, but can he be 80, 85% of that? That's probably still pretty good. The question is, you don't know who's going to be your top receiver this year if you're the Chiefs. And that part is concerning to me. I don't think the Chiefs need to have a 1,600-yard receiver on their team for them to have a really nice passing game. Can you have at least one guy that's 1,000? Just one guy? I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Rashee. I don't care if it's Xavier. I don't care if Kelsey does it. Can we get one guy that's 1,000 receiving yards this year?
If somebody has a 2022 Juju season, I'd be cool with that. If that's what
I'll take that.
That's what I'm saying.
900?
I don't need you to be Puka Nacua or Jamar Chase or Justin. I don't need you to do that. I just need you to be somebody that can come in there and be reliable, and I know on a 3rd and 6 I can go to and not have to worry about you dropping an open ball.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I
don't need a superstar. I just need you to contribute.
Can you get me 900 yards? If somebody could do that, I'll be happy. The last time they had a 900-yard receiver, they won the Super Bowl, I believe.
That's right.
So I will take that.
Yeah, any day of the week.
Any day of the week. So coming up next, we talk about what position groups we find the most interesting.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
I'm worried. Since your accident, we've got medical bills and you're missing work.
I know. I just don't know where to start.
We call SWL Injury Law the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do.
If they can help us get through this.
We've helped people just like you recover what they deserve. Visit us at SWL Injury Law today for your free consultation. We're the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
Visit SWLinjurylaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual.
You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spellbook.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation. Because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols, and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
So last segment, we talked about what our biggest concerns are with the Chiefs. Talked about DBs, talked about wide receivers. But I want to talk about which groups I think are the most interesting. And I think very clearly the most interesting group on this team is the pass rush. Because when you look at really what the identity of this team has been since Tyreek Hill left, it's been about playing great defense, winning on the margins. Your quarterback makes a bunch of plays whenever you need him to win games. But, you know, they haven't been blowing teams out on the norm like they were during the high-powered offensive days in the early Mahomes era. You know, because you had all these weapons and teams didn't really know how to stop you. And you were just completely destroying what the defensive meta in the league was. It's changed now. Now the Chiefs have been playing a lot more ball control, and they've been trying to win more with their defense. And they're not paying their big offensive players as much because, well, now you got to pay for Chris Jones. And You got to pay for George Karlaftis and Nick Bolton, and maybe they at some point throw in a cornerback contract in there. We'll see with Mansour Delane or Noah Williams, but they typically have they lately they've been about defense, but the key to that is the pass rush. If you don't have a great pass rush, it's really hard to play good defense in this league. And that's the reason why I wanted them to address the pass rush in the draft this year. I said, my two position groups I wanted them to take in the first round. I wanted them to take wide receiver, and I wanted them to take an edge rusher. Or, if you had a really awesome defensive tackle, take that too. I was a big fan of Caleb Banks because Caleb Banks I thought could be a Chris Jones type. Peter Woods, a little bit riskier because, doesn't have quite the size of a Caleb Banks and didn't test at anything in the, before. I think he did what? Did he do a 40 and that was it? Or did he do like bench? He did like one thing at his pro day and then he was like, I'm good. I can't remember. So I don't have the beast up. But he did like one thing at his pro day and then that was all he did as far as pre-draft workouts and whatnot. But they were very aggressive in trying to fix their pass rush this year. You drafted Peter Woods at was it 29, I think? Then at pick 40, 11 picks later, you took a guy that, certainly I didn't think they were going to take, or Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. A guy who I thought probably a little small for their system. And it was funny. I think it was we had Matt McMullen for the Chiefs on. And we talked about R. Mason Thomas, and we talked about who was the kid from Texas A&M? I forgot now. I cleaned out all those guys from
Cassius Howell.
Cassius Howell. That was the other one. And we talked about it. I was like, too small. Like we talked about that like on the air and off the air. I was like, too small. Cassius Howell's like the smallest edge rusher, I think, in this class. And he went, second round, I think it was?
He went the pick right after.
Yeah.
Cincinnati took him with 41.
Yeah, and he was like, because we talked a lot about Reuben Bain and, his T-Rex arms. Cassius Howell's arms were actually like half an inch shorter than him. Or it was like half an inch shorter than Bain's were. And he was a lot smaller too. And so it was like, okay, yeah, probably not a fit for the Chiefs. And, R. Mason Thomas is a little bit bigger, but still not a big dude at all. And, so it was like he's going to have to win with speed because he doesn't have a ton of power. He's won like a few times with power, but I mean, if they ask him to just try to rush with just power the whole time, he's just going to be D Ford. But I really like the fact that they showed aggression in fixing the pass rush. And also, I think what we kind of saw with like Karlaftis, we found out he had a broken hand during the season. As funny as I actually saw George Karlaftis at Yazoo back in June. And I was looking at his hand. I was like, let's get a hand right quick, make sure he's good. He looked fine. He was in good shape. I'm pretty sure he was staying in shape and whatnot and trying to make sure he's good to go. Cause I think that was like right before mandatory. And I was like, cool. Good job, George, doing the offseason work. Cause we're going to need you. And the Chiefs have sounded like very confident that he's going to be a big part of the pass rush this year and maybe this year he lives up to that contract extension he got last year. So I think this will be the first year that money starts coming in on that extension. So I would like to see him go out and earn that money this year. But the pass rush to me is by far the most interesting thing because if the pass rush is good, the Chiefs will probably be the favorites to come out of the AFC, I think. If they're good, they don't have to be the best. But when the Chiefs' pass rush is good, combined with Patrick Mahomes, combined with what you have in the secondary, combined with the run game that we think is going to be good this year, pass rush is looking pretty nice. So I would like to see them, if they can get everything going with that pass rush, If it's just a rotational thing, like I don't need Chris Jones to be playing. What was he playing, like over 70% of the snaps the last couple years? Like last 2 or 3 years, he's like playing over 70% of the snaps. He should be close to 50.
He's the only guy the last few years that's been able to do anything in the interior. And that's why they went out and got Omar Norman-Lott in the 25 draft. And of course,
he got hurt.
ACL tore, and that kind of put a wrench in that. And then that's why they went and got Peter Woods this draft, because they don't want it to all be Chris Jones anymore. He's not 27 anymore. He's going into his mid 30s ish. What is he, 32, 33 now? So,
yeah, I think
he's getting 30. To that point, though, for where defensive tackles slow down. And, it's not a very wise decision if you ask him to go out there and be prime Chris Jones still. So that's why they invested in the trenches there. And, I know you said you wanted a pass rusher in the first round. I kind of wanted Zion Young at 40. I know we all were talking about him at 29.
Yeah. I was all about Zion Young,
but I do think there's potential, and maybe this is just me being an optimist, but I do think there's potential for Peter Woods to be an impact on the pass rush as well. I think he'll be a good run defender, but I also think there's a chance that he can help out and that we don't only get an interior push from Jones this year, but maybe Norman-Lott and Peter Woods split some snaps and they can help out there too.
I agree with you on Peter Woods. Like I said, Peter Woods is very questionable to me because of the pre-draft stuff, and also he didn't play that great last year, though that wasn't all on him. Nobody played good at Clemson except for Blake Miller. He was the only person that raised his draft stock. Everyone else at Clemson saw their draft stock either drop a little bit or completely fall off a cliff, like, Cade Klubnik and Avion Terrell, who was thought to be the top corner in the draft class, and he fell all the way to the he was early second, right? I think Avion Terrell was early second to the Falcons.
Yeah, he went I think 48 to Atlanta, so he was kind of mid.
So he was mid second actually, yeah. But like they had a lot, like there were a lot of guys on that team that were. It's like T.J. Parker was considered arguably the best pass rusher in the class. Peter Woods was by far considered the best defensive tackle in the class. What was his name? Avion Terrell was considered top corner. Cade Klubnik was like a sneaky, maybe back dark horse first round. Antonio Williams was thought to be a potential late first at receiver.
Adam Randall.
Randall as well at running back. Like a lot of people thought he could be like late first, maybe early second at running back there. And everybody just fell off. So maybe that's what happened with Peter Woods, is that, he ended up, just kind of fall, because like clearly things don't look that good at Clemson right now. They look like a mess over there. But, maybe that situation squares away and the pass. And also Norman-Lott. I got to say this about Norman-Lott. I'm a big fan of him. He was one of my favorite pass rushing options in the 25 draft. If they do not have Norman-Lott try to play at 315 like they did last season, if he can go back to 290 like he was playing at Tennessee, he's going to be really, really dangerous, man. Like he's going to be really dangerous if he can go and just be a pass rush specialist that can occasionally play the run and just be that speed, 3 tech that they have opposite whoever their bigger defensive tackle is. He cannot be 315. Like I think I was really, really big on them not messing with what he did at Tennessee. And then they had him gain 25 pounds after the draft, and I thought that was like a huge mistake. So hopefully the Chiefs have him drop that weight in a healthy way, and because it didn't look like he put on like a good 25 pounds. Some of that looked like he was eating a lot of like Gates and Jack Stack and Q39. It didn't all look like good weight. Some of it he looked a lot heftier than he should, considering, what he had did at Tennessee. And like his big thing was his mobility, but they didn't really capitalize on that because he had mobility issues the minute he put on 25 extra pounds. When, like, if you guys don't know this, like he was 270 his second to last year at Tennessee. He played at 270. He put on 20 pounds so he could play on the interior because he was an edge rusher. And then you have him put on an additional 25 pounds. So in 2 years, this dude's put on almost 50 pounds. Yeah, no, you're not going to be used to playing with that kind of weight that quickly when you're transitioning like that. So I want them to have him go back to what he was in college and utilize that mobility and speed that he has as a pass rusher, because then you can get more out of Omar Norman-Lott. I thought Spags and And Cullen, I thought they made a mistake by having him put on all that weight so he can play nose tackle, because he's not a nose tackle. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the impact that Eric Bieniemy and Chad O'Shea could have on the Chiefs' offense this year.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years, and they know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. 816-265-2830 for all your cooling, heating, and plumbing needs. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Community Blood Center has declared a blood emergency as our community faces a critically low blood supply. The Chiefs, KC Current, Sporting KC, and the Royals are partnering to urge KC fans to donate blood. And thanks, donate now through July 19th to receive a We Bleed KC Stadium bag. While supplies last, let's get out and save some lives. Walk-in donations are available at any of our centers, or schedule an appointment online at savealifenow.org.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
80 million listeners depend on AM radio to always be on, delivering news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports you can trust. AM radio also delivers vital emergency information when you need it most. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Price Choppers supermarkets and McKeever's markets.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%. Which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
When it comes to my policy, Farmers gives it to me straight, so there's no surprises.
It's your coverage. You should never be confused.
You hear that? An insurance provider with a conscience.
We're a choir, but yes, we have that too.
Straightforward coverage you can literally understand. That's what you get when
you have Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Is this part of the Alibi, the in-house music we have or whatever? I've never heard this song.
I had never played this one before.
It sounds like the Killers when they were doing their electronic thing.
I was surfing around and I don't like to ever play the same ones twice or whatnot, especially in the same show. But I found this one. I was like, I've never clicked on this one. And I was like, that sounds like straight out of a Pixar film. I was like, that's kind of funny.
That sounds like the Killers when they were doing like their electronic phase a few years ago. Well, this is a long time. Almost 20 years ago now. Oh, this is like a backup part of it? Okay.
Yeah, no, it came back in. I had to say goodbye because it came back in.
I was like, this is the second part of this song. Okay. So
start off the 8 o'clock hour with a bang.
With a banger. Okay. So final hour here on After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Every time I host this show, it just flies by. It's like because I started coming up with ideas like a couple weeks ago when Spec hit me up. Was like, hey, you want to do After Hours in a couple weeks? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I wrote. You write down some ideas and you start putting it together a couple days before. But it's funny is like you write down like a bunch of topics and you use like maybe half of them because you end up going longer on topics that you didn't think you were going to go long on. So, yeah, I like planning these shows out is really fun. And, it's been a good 2 hours. We got one more to go. Talking a lot of soccer, talking a lot of Chiefs. We spent the last hour talking Chiefs. If you missed any of that, you can go on the podcast page, wherever you listen to podcasts at. You can go on our website. You can go on the Odyssey app, Spotify. Was it Google Play, I think? I have an iPhone. So
anything you could imagine.
It's
up there.
Place that podcasts are deposited on that is not like a low end podcast type deal, you'll find the first 2 hours of this show there. But big question, and I've talked with Bink about this. How big of an impact are returning offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, and new wide receivers coach Chad O'Shea? How big of an impact are those guys going to have on the team? And, I think the biggest thing that you're going to hear people say is accountability. He's going to make their receivers more accountable when they drop balls and they run wrong routes and all of that. Like, yeah, you think they would, but like the accountability is not the thing that I'm most interested in. Like, that was not the reason why I wanted Eric Bieniemy back. Because I think Andy Reid also holds his players accountable. Andy Reid is a great head coach. You don't get to where he is without holding players who are not doing what they should be doing accountable. So, like, that part has never really been my thing. And also, like, we don't know the level of accountability that has existed in that Chiefs locker room the last 3 seasons, because the only thing we can judge is what we see on the sidelines during games. And that's just not really a great picture of what happens behind the scenes in an NFL team. Much in the same way, it'd be really hard to judge someone's relationship based on what you see when they're out and about versus when they're behind closed doors. You don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. So, because you see, I don't know if you watch like crime docs, but, you watch like Dateline or, 2020, it'd be like, it'd be like some couple and then like one of them like murders the other one. It's like, oh, they looked so happy together. And it's like, of course, because what you saw was fake. You didn't see all the stuff that was happening behind closed doors. So it's like, it's really hard to judge everything when it's only just a little snippet that you get when they're out in public. So like, that's the reason why, like, I didn't, for me, it wasn't the accountability part. When we start talking about like what Eric Bieniemy could bring to the Chiefs, for me, it was one, he was going to be the only guy I think that was ever going to be able to convince Andy Reid that he needs to run the football more. Because, let's keep it a buck here. Ever since Eric Bieniemy's left, the run game has fallen apart. And it's not just because of Isaiah Pacheco and his inefficiency as a runner. Because remember, Isaiah Pacheco was the starting running back. Well, he eventually was the starting running back. It was Clyde at the first. But eventually, Pacheco became the starting running back in the middle of the 22 season. And he was awesome when Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. And that was because they played to Pacheco's strengths. As soon as EB left, the running game went downhill. Pacheco got worse. And then Andy eventually started to shift away from running the football altogether for the most part. So, yeah, absolutely. Like, that to me is the biggest thing. It's like, if there's anybody that's going to convince Andy Reid, hey, run the football more, commit to running. Like, I don't need you to run it 40 times a game. He's never going to do that. Can we get 25 consistently? Can you have a feature back that's going to get 20 touches a game? Because, like, that's what I want to see.
Can we at least go under center?
Yeah. And I don't need them to go under center a whole bunch.
A little.
But, like, a little, yeah. And
can we do it
pass from under center
more
too?
than once a game?
Yeah.
Once every 2 weeks?
And also, can we not run RPOs as much? Because RPOs are not good in the NFL. Like, it's so much harder to actually effectively run the football from an RPO because of the ineligible down man, the differences between ineligible down man in the NFL versus college. So it's like, it's really hard to run the football out of RPOs because you can't block as well in the run game because you have to account for the possibility of the football being thrown. So it's not like what they've been doing the last 3 years. It's been more of what you would see in college, like what you would see with Andy, like with Patrick Mahomes when he was playing at Tech. And you had the air raid more. It looked more like that, and it wasn't good because you needed to be able to run the football the way that grown-ass men do, not the way they do in college where you have that big-ass field, and it's really easy to just turn the corner because you can just run outside zone or sweeps. And if you got a faster guy than everyone else, which if you're a power forward, you probably do, you just turn the corner, you're good. But in the NFL, it's different because everybody's fast and because it's harder to get to the sidelines. So you got to be better between the tackles running. And you had a guy who was your starting running back that's awful running between the tackles because he just lowers his head and runs into whatever first thing he can run into. So I think they made a really big mistake not replacing Bieniemy was someone who was going to push Andy to run the football more. So that's the reason why I like the fact that they brought him back. Because if there's anybody that is going to be able to get Andy to do what he needs to do, and now that they spend all that money on Kenneth Walker, they're definitely going to do what they need to do. The level we'll see, but they definitely are going to run the football more now. Now you're going to see them go out and be a lot less predictable on offense, and that's what I want out of this Chiefs offense. Less predictability. I want to sit there because I have not been amazed by what I've seen from the Chiefs schematically. It's just they just happen to execute it better. But it's a whole lot of, let's just wait for them to throw it to Xavier Worthy in the flats. Let's just wait until they throw it to Rashee Rice 5 yards down the field and hope he gets some yak after. I want to see these guys go out and use some misdirection more. Do some of the trick plays you used to do when you were in the red zone and you were trying to get a touchdown at the goal line there, and you would run something that would misdirect the defense and you go the other way for an easy touchdown. That's what I want to see. We haven't had that in years.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the red zone because that's where I wanted to go. It feels like 20-20 they've been able to move the ball the last few years. But once they get inside that 20, everybody knows where you're looking. They're looking for 87.
Yep.
And they also know you can't run the football. So that's a really hard thing when the field.
And they know you're going to throw screens too.
You're going to throw to the flat if nothing's at right. So it's like, yeah, when you've got all the space in the world and they have to respect Worthy going 50 yards over your head, that's one thing. When you're condensed into that 20 yards where you've got all these bodies and you can't really go over the top, there's no threat of beating you deep. They've struggled badly at that the last few years, and they've had to settle for field goals when they get down inside the 20, down inside the 10, and it's really costed them, and it's made games like the game against Indianapolis last year unnecessarily close. They dominated. They had like 200 more yards in that game, but because they had to keep settling for field goals and they couldn't execute in the red zone, the game stayed close, and that's why they lost some games last year too, and it's just having a run game in the red zone will be so good for that. And like you said, when they had Bieniemy here, they were a great red zone offense. The second Nagy took over, that went away. Is that all Nagy's fault? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think but it's fair to say that Bieniemy fits an Andy Reid style better than maybe Nagy does, or that he'll get Reid to be more honest with the football than maybe Nagy was getting him to be. Nagy maybe was just saying, all right, we'll go air raid, whereas Bieniemy's going to come in, and you just saw it last year in Chicago with Ben Johnson. He got the best out of a 7th rounder and Kyle Monungai. Like, he can really make a difference, and I hope that we see that in the red zone this year.
I think the big thing for EB is that EB's willing to challenge Andy in a way that I'm not sure that that his predecessor was willing to do. Like, I feel like what happened is when you look at, like, after EB left, Andy was just like, he didn't have anybody to challenge him and say, hey, let's not do that. Let's do this. Because you know how EB is. EB is very direct. He's very assertive. Rubs people the wrong way because of it. But, you know, I appreciate his assertiveness. He's willing to call anybody out. I mean, you know, I'm planning on going to training camp here in a few weeks. I guarantee you the loudest person that will be there for the coaching staff is going to be Eric Bieniemy. Because every time I've gone to training camp, he has been the loudest person there when he was with the team. So, like, that's the thing that I'm really looking forward to. Because, like, look, Nagy had good chemistry with Mahomes, and Andy liked him a lot. But Nagy kind of, and I don't know this for sure, but it's just how it seemed to me. He seemed like a yes man. Eric Bieniemy doesn't seem like a yes man. Eric Bieniemy is like, he seems like the kind of dude that, like, he's like that dude you need on your team, where he was like, yeah, that's dumb. Let's not do that.
He's the friend you need that's not going to lie to you.
He's not gonna try to puff your ego up.
No.
He gonna keep it real.
He's going to be like, if you put on 10 pounds, he's not going to.
He'll be like, hey, dog,
what's
stop
going on?
Eating, bro.
Yeah, he's going to be like, you need to lock in.
Hit the bike, my guy.
You know, where there's, you know, your less, you know, close friends that won't want to say anything.
Yeah, you're looking good.
You're looking good, man. Like, yeah, how you doing? Like, they're gonna be fake nice about it, but your real close homies, those are the ones that are gonna be like, hey, man, like, what's going on? Like, lock in. Like, what are you doing?
Like, stop being Popeyes, my
you're
guy.
right. To where, like, I feel like there was almost a good cop, bad cop thing with Andy and Bieniemy when he was here, where it was like, Andy never really likes to bark. He doesn't want to get on guys. Bieniemy loves it. Bieniemy will do it, and he does not care. And
Andy will get on guys, but Andy does it in, like, a nice way.
It's not him though. Like, to me, Andy is this very nice.
He's too likable.
Yes, very likable offensive genius. Whereas Bieniemy can be more of that assertive, Dan Campbell-esque, where it's like, hey, like, no nonsense, let's go. And, you know, guys will still listen to him, but they can also still like Andy and respect Andy at the same time.
Yeah, he'll push you. He's willing to be the villain if he has to be.
Exactly.
And I respect that about him.
Because I don't think Andy makes a good villain.
No, Andy's too likable. Like, the guys want to play for him and they love him, but it's like sometimes you do need that bad cop. As far as Chad O'Shea goes, new wide receiver coach for the Chiefs, I really love this hire. Like, I know a lot of people looked at, he's with the Browns, or the Browns suck. So he can't be good. Like, Jerry Jeudy probably had the best season of his career with this dude. Amari Cooper, nice season with this dude before, his health started going downhill. This is a guy that has coached guys in New England when they were winning titles. He has plenty of experience. And the big thing, for me at least, is that he has a level of professionalism that I'm not sure we've seen from a receivers coach maybe during Andy's tenure. Just in terms of like, this is a guy that's been around the league, that has been on really good coaching staffs, that has been around some really talented players. Like, this is a guy that if you're smart and you look at his resume, you cannot refute his resume. The only people that are refuting his resume are dumb people that just look at the team and they're like, it's the Browns. They're not good. But, like, if you look at his resume and the guys that he's coached, it's hard to refute what he's done. And just, you brought up, like, Cyrus. No, it was someone on the text line, actually. They brought up Cyrus Allen last hour, talking about, how, Cyrus Allen's a guy that we should watch out for. And I agree with that. I've said this on Character Concerns podcast, and, I'll probably be saying it all year. Certainly when we do our preview next month, watch out for good old Cyrus Allen, because he might be a surprise player for this team. He might be a pretty good slot option for the team in the future. So I don't think he's going to be a number one receiver or anything, but I think he could be a very good contributor for the team over the next few years as like a third or fourth receiving option. But, that's a guy that I think could benefit from being with a guy like Chad O'Shea. Xavier Worthy, going into his third season, a prime developmental year for him, could see a massive jump in his play because of a coach like Chad O'Shea, someone who knows the nuances of how to run routes at the NFL level, beat man, beat zone. And, Andy's system's very complex, and he asks a lot of his receivers as far as being able to run option routes and diagnose what the defense is doing. And, a lot of teams try to dumb it down for their receivers now because you're just trying to make sure that they don't have to do a lot of thinking, and you make it easy for them to get open so the quarterback can get the ball out of his hands quick. But, man, like having a guy like O'Shea with the veteran tricks that he understands and the way that he knows, because that's probably, I think, was the biggest issue with Connor Embry before, is that, like, I never felt like they respected him as a coach. It felt like he was like an unqualified supervisor that you have at your job. You're like, dude, I'm better than you.
And they came out and after Embry was let go from the team,
and they
mentioned it. Like, that became public. Like, I don't remember the exact quote for quote statements, but they were basically talking about how, like, it felt like Kelsey and those guys had to do more
and
coaching
Hopkins
than he
had
would.
to be the one that
they were the ones coaching the young
yeah.
guys, not Embry. And when you look at Embry's resume, that's not that surprising because he didn't have much experience.
And I'm not a big, like, have to be a big-time wide receiver to be a receiver coach. Like, I don't think you have to be a great player to be a good coach. Because, like, there's a lot of players that I think are probably going to be better coaches than players. Like Ty Simpson. I think Ty Simpson will make a great quarterbacks coach and maybe even a great offensive coordinator in the future. I don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. Like,
kind of like Kellen Moore. Like,
yeah,
he was a horrible NFL quarterback.
Awesome college quarterback, awful NFL quarterback.
One of the greatest college quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
Never made it in the NFL, but damn, does he have a good offensive mind.
Yeah.
Like, he has orchestrated the Dak Cowboys, the Herbert Chargers, Hurts Eagles Super Bowl team, and then last year he had Tyler Shuck looking real nice. Like, you don't have to be a great player to be a great coach. I'm not saying that, but Connor Embry just had no real history on his resume to suggest that he was ready for that job.
And he didn't do it, at least the way it seemed. It didn't seem like he did enough to earn their respect. And that's one of the things that you got to be able to do. You got to have leadership qualities. And I didn't really see that from him. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. So, again, don't know. But at least from appearances, and especially after, he got let go, what we heard didn't seem like he had those leadership qualities that you would be looking for in someone in that role. O'Shea brings that. And that is important because, and this is the reason why, like, in hindsight, it didn't make any sense why they hired Connor Embry in the first place. Because you have a bunch of young receivers you are paying a lot of money to. Well, not a lot of money to, but you're putting in an important position because these guys are rookie contract guys that are basically being asked to come in and be the weapons in the offense, especially with the run game degrading, and you didn't have a coach that could command their respect the way that you do now. That to me is like that's the reason why I think O'Shea is like such a massive hire for them, because you get someone that could command respect for grown-ass men in that locker room. And, maybe some of these guys take that step forward, and next thing you know, we see them get more out of the young receivers than they've been getting. That's why, to me, I think the impact that O'Shea could have could be really massive, just because he gives them a more professional coach in what is probably right now their most important positional coach role on their team, because of how important it is right now for their receiving core to deliver. Because if they're like they were last year, it's going to be really hard for them to go out there and win. Coming up next, we're going to get back to the World Cup talk, and there's talk right now of them expanding the World Cup to 64 games for 4 years from now. Is that a good idea? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
For all the things you have to do and places you need to be, let Uber take you there. Because you had just one more 3 rounds ago. Because the 5 a.m. flight seemed like a good idea at the time. Because check engine lights always appear at the worst possible times. And because parking downtown is a nightmare. Because there are nights out, airport trips, and car troubles. There are drivers in your area. Uber. Request a ride today. Wait time varies. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Baseball season is in full swing, and you can trade every game over on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you trade every game, futures, and even the all-star events. For instance, maybe you're thinking about, I want to figure out who's going to take home the trophy. Maybe you like Milwaukee to do so. A $100 trade over on Kalshi right now could net you a $1,068 payout. Those are the kind of things you can do over there on Kalshi, because over there you're trading against a person in a live market, meaning there is no house, and the probability changes. You can buy in and out of your position depending on what position of yours you like. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $10 when you trade 10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, visit kalshi.com/regulatory.
I'm excited about it. These cutting edge things that are new in medicine now, I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics. It works.
Henry Hinton decided to check out QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his aching knees after seeing a close friend have amazing results without going under the knife.
I have a friend that started this, which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it. He could not play golf anymore, and he went to QC Kinetics and started having the treatments, and he's back golfing like 3 days a week. He couldn't play at all.
QC Kinetics gets you back to doing what you love, using your own natural biologics to help heal and restore damaged joints. Long-term relief that puts a guy back on the golf course.
I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference. QC Kinetics works. I'm excited about it.
You're next. Start with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOLD.
You already know that every Royals game is right here on 96.5 The Fan. But if you're looking for more Royals coverage, tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Fernier throughout the week. He joins Fesco and Dusty every Monday morning at 8:20. Cody and Gold every Wednesday at 12:30. And he joins The Drive every Friday at 3. Miss anything? Check it out on the show podcast or All Things Fern Channel, wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Just a little bit over a half hour left here in the show. I'm scrolling Twitter right now, and there is so much. Like, this is one of the most unified I have seen Twitter in sports. Everyone's going to go for Spain on Sunday in that game against Argentina. I will too. I am a big. I like Spain. My favorite team plays in Spain, Real Madrid, and it's there's a player on that team that plays for Madrid, so I'm going to root for my guy. But it's hilarious seeing so many people unite. Like, Argentina's basically become the Chiefs.
Yes.
And people are hating them just because they're great. I mean, there's other reasons too, but mainly just because they're great. And they're just tired of seeing them win all the time. And like, they win the way that like John Cena won back in the day in WWE. Like, he'd get his ass kicked for most of the match, and then he'd come back at the end, hit his 5 moves of doom, and then he'd win. That's how Argentina's winning every one of their games.
Yeah, I think people are more upset with how they're winning. They're like, they can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that they won the last World Cup. Everybody's like, no, not again.
Yeah.
And they
all the Messi love, they're tired of that too. You know how it is. Like, we love greatness until it happens, and then we hate it.
Yeah,
so
100%. And then but once it's over, we reminisce on it and we love it. But during it, we're like, no, terrible. Then once a guy like Brady retires, it's like, man, he really was the greatest, you know? But
Brady
during it,
was
you're like,
great,
I hate Tom Brady.
You know, I do that with Peyton Manning. I hated Peyton Manning when he played for the Colts. And especially when he played for the Broncos. But definitely when he played, I hated his ass. Hated him. I don't know why I
know why you hated him. He beat our ass.
he was awesome, and he did do a lot of ass beating of the Chiefs. So I definitely hated him for that. I also hated him just because his forehead, and I hate the Colts uniforms. I'm not a Colts uniforms. They're plain. Like some plain uniforms look good. Like what's the name? Penn State. Penn State, great uniforms. Love their uniforms. Plain as hell, just white, blue, white. The Colts, just boring.
The Colts feel like a worse Lions, like a worse Cowboys almost.
Yeah, like the Colts uniforms look like the uniforms that you see in those TV commercials, like the generic team uniforms.
It's like if there was like a football movie on Tubi.
Yeah,
and they like
yeah. Like you go buy a TV at NFM or wherever you buy TVs at, and they have like a football, like 2 football players on there, and like one of them always has a uniform that looks like the Colts uniforms. That's the reason why I'm not a fan of the Colts. But respect the organization, all that. They've had some good years, and they definitely did some winning when Peyton was there. Hated him though when he was there.
But now you look back and you're like, Peyton Manning was a top 5 quarterback ever.
Yeah, he'd probably be number 4 for me all time.
Who's your top 3?
Number 3, so top 3 it'd be Brady 1, Mahomes 2.
I agree.
Montana 3.
Yeah, I think that's a fair top 3.
Yeah. For now. I think if Mahomes wins one more, I would put him above Brady.
Yeah, I think Brady 1, Mahomes 2 is pretty safe to say at this point.
At this point, yeah. And then if Mahomes wins one more, he's my GOAT. I don't really care about anyone else's argument at that point. But one of the things that is interesting is it's hilarious. Like, we've seen this in American sports now for a while. You watch the NFL, when they added the 17th game to the schedule, they also added a playoff team to each conference. So now it's 7 in each conference that make it. And, when they eventually add that 18th game, maybe they'll add an 8th team. I don't know. We'll see. But the interesting thing about this is that FIFA, is his name Gianni Infantino, I think is the name of the president of FIFA. I know his last name's Infantino, but I think it's Gianni. I thought it was Carlo or something, but I think it's Gianni. And he's talking about expanding the World Cup to 64 teams. It's a 48 right now. It used to be at 32. And there were a lot of people that complained about the 48-team tournament when they first announced it, and certainly during the group stage, because you had some games that weren't that great, some teams that would not have made it had it been the standard 32 would not have made it in. But I actually thought that them expanded 48 worked. I thought it was great, like especially with the third place teams making it in. Because some of them third place teams, they gave teams a run for their money. I mean, Cote d'Ivoire, they gave England a run for their money. Cape Verde gave Argentina a run for their money. Cape Verde they were probably the team that played both Argentina and Spain the best in this entire tournament. And, I was really impressed with what Cape Verde did. I really like the idea of them expanding it to 48, but now that we're talking to 64, some of them teams don't deserve to get into this damn tournament. Like, that's probably the only way Italy gets in now, because Italy has been getting thrashed trying to qualify for the World. They've missed the last 2 World Cups because they just failed to qualify, which is crazy because, I mean, Italy is been one of the best teams in the World Cup. They won the World Cup back in 2006. They have one of the best league, like one of the 5 best leagues in the world. A lot of great players there, a lot of awesome teams there. I mean, Christian Pulisic, he plays in Italy for AC Milan. So there's talent there. And then the fact that you haven't been able to qualify for the World Cup, that's a damn shame. But I kind of feel like if they expand it to 64, you're going to kind of water the tournament down.
It's kind of how I feel with college basketball doing it, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we don't. Like, last year's bubble was a 500 Auburn. And, like, we need to add spots to let a
500 team in?
A 15 and 15 Auburn in? Not really.
No.
Do we? No. Like, we don't really need more teams. And it's already good. And look, like I said, going to 48 allowed for things like Cape Verde this year, which was very fun, objectively, even for someone that doesn't care about soccer, just seeing a small team in a small country like that compete with the best of the best. But once you go over the top to 64, then it's just like we're letting anybody in. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's meaningful to qualify anymore once you get to a certain number of teams.
Like, to me, it's like how bad of an idea it is to expand the college football playoff to 24 teams. I know a lot of people had their feelings about them expanding it to 12 teams. And I get that. Like, I understand that, especially if you grew up like I did during the BCS era. You start adding extra teams in, it feels like you're devaluing the championship. I disagree with that, but I understand why people felt that way. I always thought, like initially when they first started talking about how bad the BCS was, I said 12-team playoff because I'm like, 4 teams get buys, and then the 8 teams battle it out, so you create incentive for the top 4 teams to get buys, and then you also create incentive for the other 8 teams because you're fighting to stay in the tournament. Because before, you had to be undefeated, basically, to get into the national championship game. During the BCS era, you had to be undefeated. And one of the problems is that teams would just beef up their schedule with cupcake-ass non-con games. Teams also would buff up their conferences. There was maybe 2 or 3 good teams, and then the rest of the teams were teams you're going to beat up on. Like Texas and Oklahoma, they were eaten up during the BCS era because they just, as long as they were undefeated, because of their reputation, they were going to have a chance at the BCS national championship game every single year. Same thing with whoever won the SEC. You were basically guaranteed a spot in the national title game every year because of your reputation. Then you added the college football playoff and you put it at 4 teams. And it was still heavily slotted towards to the SEC, but you did see a little bit more diversity there. 12, though, is perfect because you add in the possibility of parity, which we've seen the last 2 years. The last 2 years, we've had a team in the title game that would not have been in the 4-team playoff before, because Ohio State would not have been in the 4-team playoff if it had existed the 2 years, the year that they won the national title a couple years ago. And Miami wouldn't have got in at all because they barely got in with the 12-team playoff. And ended up working out because Miami got hot. They had an awesome run, made it to the title game, almost won the national title. That's great for college football because parity means that there are more important games because now a lot more different teams can win it. So I like the idea of expanding playoffs generally, but there's a certain level to where it just becomes diluted. 64 teams in the World Cup, you're just diluting the thing. Just like 24 teams in the college football playoff, you're diluting it because half them teams are not going to be good at all. Half them teams are going to get smacked. Like, it's not even close. Because we saw that in the first round this year. This year, like, I think it was 2 of the 3 games were just like straight up, like, they got destroyed. Like, Tulane and James Madison, not even close. Like, not even anywhere close to being competitive. So I really think that, let's not fill the World Cup with 3-0 wins through the group stage because you got, like, some country we've never heard of making it into the tournament and just getting smashed by Spain in Spain and, like, Switzerland in 2 of their 3 group stage matches because you wanted to make more money on TV deals. So that's the reason why I'm not a big fan of them expanded to 64 because you dilute the tournament. I understand why they want to do it because money, but I don't think that's a good idea. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you guys. I give you this warning every year before football season, but I'm telling y'all, I'm going to explain why you need to stop falling for the national media bait.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Community Blood Center has declared a blood emergency as our community faces a critically low blood supply. The Chiefs, KC Current, Sporting KC, and the Royals are partnering to urge KC fans to donate blood. And thanks, donate now through July 19th to receive a We Bleed KC Stadium bag. While supplies last, let's get out and save some lives. Walk-in donations are available at any of our centers, or schedule an appointment online at savealifenow.org.
Odyssey Sports is presented by ZipRecruiter. Find out why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/team.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You know, I pride myself on not being, like, super emotional when it comes to sports. Like, yeah, like if my team wins, you know, I'll be happy and whatnot. But I'm not like Like, I'm not one of those, like, crazy fans that, like, I don't cry after losses. I'll be depressed after losses. Like, I remember, what was it, 2009 when Florida got their heads caved in by Alabama in the SEC title game. That's, like, the most devastating loss I have ever had as a sports fan. Like, I didn't want to talk to him. I was talking so much trash that year about Florida. That was, I think it was Tebow's last year at Florida. And, that's the most devastating loss I've ever had as a sports fan. But I typically try not to get too emotional about teams, and especially when other people say something I disagree with about my team or my favorite players. I'm like, you're entitled to your opinion. It doesn't really matter, though. Well, Chiefs fans, people here on the station, here on 96.5 The Fan, they've been falling for it again. Every year this time of year, there's somebody in national media, somebody on ESPN or Fox Sports or Yahoo or whatever platform. Somebody's trying to make a name for themselves. You know, Mike Florio loves to do this. Colin Cowherd loves to do this. And they say something that is borderline slanderous about the Chiefs, especially when it comes to Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid or whatever. And the thing that is outraging people this year is the fact that somebody had Patrick Mahomes number 2 on their list of quarterbacks, and somebody had Andy Reid number 8 on their list of head coaches. My guy Bink, love him to death, he fell for it. I heard him this morning on Fesco, and we talk about this all the time. He does this all the time. Every time I come in and we do the podcast, and he brings up, well, somebody had them on this and that, and Andy Reid has never won Coach of the Year for the Chiefs. And I'm like, who cares? He's won 3 Super Bowls. I don't give a damn about no damn. You think he cares about a Coach of the Year award? He got 3 rings at home. Like every year, we get this campaign where somebody tries to stand out by slandering the Chiefs, slandering Patrick Mahomes. Like every year, there's always somebody that predicts that the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. They happen to get it right this past year. But every year, we see somebody, the Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs. And what happens with y'all? Not every one of y'all. Many of y'all are level-headed. Y'all understand the game now. But what do y'all do? Y'all get on Twitter. Y'all at that person. And you're like, you're stupid because you think Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 quarterback. Who cares what that person thinks? First off, half them people that say that stuff don't actually believe what they're saying. They're just trying to get attention. Like, that's what they're trying to do. Like, they're just being contrarian on purpose. Like, Colin Cowherd, I don't listen to Colin Cowherd when he talks because I know that he doesn't mean half the stuff that he says. He's admitted it before on the air. He says stuff for attention. So, why are y'all getting mad? Y'all got to understand that when y'all get mad like that, you are validating those stupid opinions. So just let it ride. If the person on Yahoo or whatever outlet thinks that Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 quarterback in the league, let him. You want to know why? Keep the receipt. When the season's done, if the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, hey, you still think he's number 2 in the league? We good. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Keep that receipt. Throw it back at him later when they prove him wrong. You think Andy Reid is the 8th best coach in the NFL when they win the Super Bowl? Is he still number 8 or is he number 1 again? Because everyone thought he was number 1 2 years ago when they won the title. Since then, it ain't been the same. My thing is, y'all fall for the bait every time. When all them idiots were out there tweeting about the Chiefs getting all the calls and the NFL's cheating for them and the refs they're paying the Chiefs are paying the refs and the NFL's using the refs to help the Chiefs win. And y'all got mad and y'all fell for that. And it's like y'all just, they're stupid. People are stupid. What are you getting mad at people for being stupid for? Just let them be stupid. If somebody on Twitter who's not in any position of power thinks that the Chiefs are getting all the calls because Roger Goodell and the Chiefs want to prop up the second smallest market in the NFL, let them think that. They're stupid. I'm not going to go out here and try to disprove someone who really thinks that the earth is flat. If you really think the earth is flat, I can't help you, my guy. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to debate with you because you're probably dumb. There's nothing I can do about that if you're dumb. So just let them be dumb. If somebody is hating on the Chiefs in an irrational way, not like someone bringing up like valid criticism, like receiving core, DBs, the pass rush. What about the right tackle? Are the Chiefs going to dedicate themselves to the run game? Like, if you want to bring up those things as valid criticisms, you got it. But what are we doing about getting mad about somebody who said Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 quarterback in football? It's just not worth the effort.
It's funny because back in the 23 season when they were really struggling and they had lost at like the Christmas Day game to the Raiders, they lost.
Oh, that was a bad day.
There were so many people on there saying
man.
like they're done, they're not going to do anything. And I just kept them. I just kept bookmarking it. And then like the next morning after they beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl, I started responding to those. And I was
What's
like,
up, cuz?
What's up? And their number one response is, you really came back to this tweet
Hell yeah,
3 months later? Like, you're such a loser. Like, you have nothing better to do?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you want to blab. You want to say all this stuff. But then when I come back to it, all of a sudden, now I'm the loser.
Ain't that serious.
I'm like, now I'm just the loser for coming back to it. But you were all high and mighty puffing your chest back on Christmas Day when they lost to the Raiders at home. So what happened? Like, I stayed silent whenever you were talking. And I said, okay, we'll see how it plays out. It played out the way that we knew it would. Mahomes went on to win a Super Bowl. And then I came back and said, what's up? And they were like, oh, my gosh, like, you won a Super Bowl and your first thought was to come back and respond to me? And I was like,
my guy.
Heck, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah. No, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
now
let
you get to feel it.
Yeah. If you don't want the energy, don't tweet it out. Best way to not get that energy. Don't put it out there for the public to then parse your words with. Coming up next, we're going to close the show by telling you, this is the only Royal segment we're going to do on tonight's show. But I'm going to tell you what I want to see the Royals do to close out the season.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation. Because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols, and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Michaela, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You found your dream engagement ring. As a jewelry consultant, I recommend to start shopping for your wedding band 6 months before your big day. Don't worry. At Shane Company, we're here to help you find the perfect bands. Our men's and women's bands are crafted to high-quality standards, and it shows in every detail, with a stylish design and comfortable fit. At Shane Company, we'll take care of your engagement ring and wedding bands for life, because a friend wants you to say, I do, to your rings again and again. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We have just a few minutes left here on After Hours. And for the first time tonight, we're going to talk about the Royals. And what I want to see the Royals do the rest of the way. And that's simple. I'm not asking a whole lot from the Royals. It's funny. I produce a lot of Royals games here on 96.5 The Fan. I hear all y'all calls coming in. And some of y'all are being really unreasonable with expectations. Whenever they get on a little winning streak, there's always somebody calling in. I think the Royals might be able to make a run of the wild card. And, they convince themselves, and then they go on a 3-game or 4 or 5-game losing streak, and then that goes away. But as soon as they get back on a winning streak again, somebody talks themselves into the wild card. Because, the wild card race isn't great right now. A lot of these teams just nobody's really the guys in the wild card have not separated themselves from the pack the way that a lot of times we generally see that happen. Even though the Royals really bad right now, one of the worst teams in baseball, that there hasn't been a huge separation of the pack there. I'm not asking for the Royals to get back into the race because I think that's an unreasonable thing to ask. All I want to see is some fight. When the Royals went out and lost, was it 22-1? I was like, just cancel the season. Just call it, bro. Just end. I don't need to do any more of these games. They don't need to play anymore. Just call it. Because that's one of those losses that that's a season defining loss right there. When you lose like that in the midst of a bad season, it's different if it happens to you and it just, it is what it is. But when you do that in the middle of a bad, a disappointingly bad season, that's a sign of the times for sure. I want to see them fight in a way that, I want to see them go out there and close games, push some of these good teams. Even if you lose games, and I'm not here to give them credit for playing teams close. I just want to see effort and fight. Because, man, when I watch a lot of these games, especially at the plate, these guys look hopeless.
There's no energy.
Nothing.
I think that's the word that can best summarize it, is there's no energy. They go out there, and it feels like before the first pitch is even thrown, that their body language, they lost.
There's I'm going to ground out the second real quick.
And that's a reflection on the manager. And that's a reflection on the people in charge. Because, trust me, we watched in the World Baseball Classic, Vinny Pasquantino, Bobby Witt Jr., Jack Caglione, they have tons of personality, man. They do, and they're good players. But right now, they all feel like they're just going through the motions. And it's hard when you're on a really bad team like this that just can't stop losing to get things turned around or to get the positive vibes going. For me, going forward, I would obviously like to see more energy, more passion, more fight the rest of this way. Obviously, you're not getting back in this race. You're 21 games under 500. But,
your ass.
But I would like to see you play better, and I'd like to see the product be better, and especially the young guys like Carter and Cags. I'd like to see them continue to develop. And if it stays this bad, I would like to see some accountability. Some people need to be replaced. I don't like coming on here or going on any show for that matter and saying this guy needs to lose his job. But the facts are the facts. When you're this bad and your farm system's bottom 5 in the MLB, what's for the fans to look forward to, man? Somebody eventually has to be held accountable.
And that's another thing, the farm system, big problem. The Royals have sucked for a long time now. And you'd think you'd accumulate some players in your farm system. And even when they had Bobby and Vinny And, some of the other guys that were down there, like Prado was down there for a little bit. They didn't ever have like a great farm system when those guys were there.
The last time they had a great farm system was Hosmer Moustakas and those guys.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Will Myers. You're going back a long time.
Yeah, like when they had like Odorizzi there. And
you're going back a long time since they've had a legit farm system. Like Bleacher Report just came out with an article or a ranking post-draft, ranking the farm systems. Where do you think the Royals rank?
26.
25th.
25th.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable for a team that's that bad at the major league level to be that bad as a farm as well. That is just completely unacceptable.
And that's my problem is like you gotta retool the farm system. You can't be this bad at your farm system this long.
And they have a chance to at the deadline, but it doesn't sound like they want to move Walker or Lugo.
No. And so it's like, and I understand why, but it's like you need something. Like I don't need them to they're not competing this year for a title.
No.
They're not winning the World Series. They're not making the playoffs.
They might get the first pick.
They might get the first pick, depending on how the lottery shakes out, which I hate the lottery for baseball. I hate draft lotteries in general. I just want to see them show some fight. Just go out there. Like, don't be an easy lick for these opposing teams. Like, go out swinging, bro. Like, I always appreciate that in like boxing matches, MMA fights. Like, if you have like someone who's like a heavy favorite, but their opponent goes in there and they're just throwing hands. Like, I remember, was it John Jones? When he faced Alexander Gustafsson. It was like a decade. It's like 11 years ago, I think. And Gustafsson, like, everyone was like, yeah, Jones is going to beat Gustafsson. But Gustafsson beat his ass in that fight. Like, even though he didn't win, John Jones was like, I'm not fighting that dude again. Because Gustafsson went out there and left it all. I want to see the Royals do Gustafsson. Special thanks to Jackson Ogden on the other side of the glass for doing all the hard work. And special thanks to you for taking time out of your Wednesday evening to listen to us. My name is Christian Cero, and this has been After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan.